really well. Like that was really well timed. I see it popping up in the alert and everything. That's that's really impressive, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to feel about that. But yeah, we got this going on, the DoDCast again. We got quick
Yeah.
introductions. Mariosack, thank you for subscribing and paying your way into this friendship. That's good. I like you being on that
Yeah,
side.
baby.
That's fun. We got Kaz. Hey, Kaz.
Ugh.
All right, good. Glad we got
That's
that
him.
out of
I
our
just woke
system.
up.
The Kaz just woke up, and unlike last
That's
time,
good.
we don't have a list of things we were supposed to talk about.
No,
Oh,
we're gonna
fuck,
free
I
balling
forgot.
this.
We don't have any of that.
100%.
So
You should
this is
probably.
No, we don't need that. We're doing it live.
yeah, we're doing it.
I was gonna say, are you gonna do that?
What the? Well, I always because of how fickle my internet used to be. I always wait until I can physically see the stream is up before I actually tweet anything out.
Yeah.
So,
Oh no, that's fair. That's fair.
especially after the last few, there's a topic. The last few days where Twitch has decided to not work properly and not open up pages the way it's supposed to be. So that's great that happened 3 days in a row in my time zone, my time slot.
Yeah.
That's
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Yeah, I love that. I love when a billion-dollar company is like, "Thank you for your patience." Like I gave it to them, but whatever.
Oh, it's
Here's your-
vagrant.
Here's your forced patience.
Yeah, here's some of that. I've always hated that wording. Like, how about you just ask for it, and then I can choose whether or not to be an asshole. I don't know. Mario, did you do the art for the stream? Yeah, he did. He did. He absolutely did. Just out for a rip, are you, bud? Oh yeah, just out for a rip with Kaz
Stop for
and Mariosack. So last time we talked a lot
Nobody
about
else.
Yeah, nobody else. Definitely not anyone else in this podcast. Last time we talked a lot about Cyberpunk and how
Ugh.
that didn't meet anyone's expectations because we're right. Kaz and I are right all the time, especially about these types of things.
Exactly.
It's
what if-
tiring being a philosopher.
I know, man. You just running
God.
around being Socrates, calling shit out. Nobody listens.
I feel like I'm
He's
that
a
one
fucking
Greek
big brain.
philosopher who he just hung around in a bathtub in the market all day.
Wasn't that
He didn't really
Socrates?
do anything. I don't think that was Socrates. I forget who it was.
Because I don't like the Socratic method. That bothers me.
It's kind of shit.
It's real patronizing. They're like, oh well, how does this work? And he just like leans in. He's like, how do you think it works? And they're like, I don't know. That's
Can
why
you
I
just
asked you."
explain it to me? I don't have time for this shit.
I don't know. Did you not be a fucking dickhead about it?
Well, what is time at the end of the day? What do you think time is?
I think it's time for you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Socratic method gets on my nerves pretty easily.
Oh, Diogenes, the dude who just sat around in a bathtub in the market and refused to get out and would make fun of people who passed by.
Mm-hmm.
And he said when he died, just catapult his body over the wall so the wolves can eat him. And I feel like that's
cool.
I feel like he's like what I strive to be.
Yeah, that's a pretty.
I mean, that's
decent-
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty good philosopher right there. That's
He's the creator of cynic philosophy. It's very good.
sitting around making fun of people is. I mean, we all respond to that.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's all we really do.
Yeah, like I get a regular that comes in and is just like, Dragon, you're gay. So
And you are.
I know it's weird. Like,
Well, yeah, it's like you're sitting in a bathtub in the market naked masturbating, and the same dude walks by every fucking day, and he's like, "Are you gonna stop?" And you're like, "No."
No.
why would you?
Why the fuck would I stop?
Yeah, why would you?
What an idiot. Why would he even ask that?
I mean,
Yeah.
you're living in olden
Stupid.
times too, where you got nothing better to do except have sex and jerk off, and they're gonna ask you, "Are you gonna stop?" Like, you're gonna do what else? What else is there to do in olden times? The classical Greek era. Nothing. Except make up stories about golden fleeces and cyclops. That's about all you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Just lie about shit, really.
So anyways, I love playing D&D.
I know. I bet you do. So other than D&D, what have you since we've shat all over Cyberpunk, we haven't been playing that. What do you guys been playing?
I've been playing a lot of COD actually.
A lot of COD.
What else?
And you said you
What's
weren't
the
going to
last
buy
game I
Cold War,
played?
but you did buy Cold War.
I ended up getting Cold War because I really liked Black Ops 1 and 2. and getting reminded of what the classic Call of Duty experience is after playing Modern Warfare is like a slap in the mouth. It's so like arcadey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you die in 3 bullets, and according to some people, Cold War is the slowest time to kill in the Call of Duty series compared to like Infinite Warfare. And it's like you die if you get looked at. What are you talking about? How is this slow?
Right.
You die to like 3 body shots from a pistol.
Yeah, time to kill has been the big topic in first-person shooters for a while because of the.
How many games you get it wrong recently? Like,
yes, so many. We got definitely Battlefield 5. That felt like
that was the worst.
Well, there's
it's weird how having a long time to kill isn't great, but I find it better than having a fast time to kill, honestly.
Yeah. Well, the longer the time to kill, it's you've got it both ways. If it's a long time to kill, you still die behind a corner. If it's a short time to kill, you still die behind a corner because of regular ass latency.
Yeah.
And then in the between, the golden zone is when you're supposed to die in front of the corner instead of behind it. So.
Well, like I prefer having enough life to get into a firefight and maneuver myself like in it. I don't want to get into a firefight and drop dead.
Right.
I don't find that fun. That's why I really like Battlefield 1. You could get into like you could accidentally stand in front of a guy, go back in the door and be fine. Mm-hmm. You'll have like 20% health left, but you'll be fine.
Right.
But in COD, it's like, oh, your toenail's out the fucking door. I shot you with a pistol, idiot.
Yeah, you're dead. There is nothing left of you, and you should feel bad for installing this game.
Very unreasonable. The campaign's great, though. I really like the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've played Black Ops 1, you've played the campaign.
Right. Which is...
Everyone likes CIA MK Ultra shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. So you've been playing a lot of COD, and it's been working out for you. You've been feeling like the new one is okay.
I'm feeling it! Oh, and Hades. I finally checked out Hades thanks to someone gifted it to me. That's so fucking good. I'm a really big fan of
Yeah.
You cut out.
Everything about the game I really like. The gameplay is really good. The art style is really cool, and I like the whole Greek gods thing. And the game's written and voice acted really well, so there's nothing bad about it.
Oh yeah. It looks great, like honestly.
There's like one scene of Ronald Reagan Vagrant.
Wait. I thought you were talking about in Hades.
Oh no,
I was like, what?
Well,
he would be
Cold
there.
War campaign, just Black Ops, but with more Reagan face. Yeah, there's one scene with Ronald Reagan, and it's at the beginning of the game before you make your character. My favorite part of the COD campaign is the fact that when you make your character, you get to list psychological disorders you have as buffs.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, oh, you're paranoid? You aim down your sights faster.
I can hear that Mario is happy with the idea of Reagan in Hades just popping
Yeah,
out.
I'm fucking picturing
he's actually your dad, the Lord of the Underworld.
Yeah, I'm literally picturing Hades turns around. It's like that thing where you fight him and he just turns around and it's just Ronald Reagan.
The souls trickle down. They trickle down.
Oh no!
You're worse than my father. More evil.
Fucking
I don't like how these men dress here.
Quick shout out to Ebawera for the $5 in bits. I appreciate that. What?
Was bits really the most optimal way?
Well, yeah, for some people. Remember, I don't know.
I guess that's true.
Here's the thing. I don't have my shit set up for credit cards. You think I would because I'm like the biggest sellout, right? But now I don't need to because people just buy bits and they go for that. And even though I don't like Twitch's markup on that because it feels like they're QQing about not being able to get donation money from very generous people, I can understand why bits feel like a secure option to give money to people. Some streamers feel safer about it too because you can't charge back bits once it's in. I mean, everywhere it's $5 ain't coming back. That's mine now.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing they can do about it. But here's a negative. I just want to throw this out here. I know YouTube won't be able to see it, but Twitch put up a hype train
Oh yeah.
And I really hate hype trains because it feels like Twitch doesn't have the confidence in me to sell out on my own. Like we've got to trick viewers into thinking there's false hype. I can set that up any time I want to.
You can't turn it off, can you?
And that's just, I have not found the option for it, and they're going to move it anyway once you do. Cuz dashboard
I
just
don't think
gets
you can turn it off.
just fucking gone. I was
Also,
saying,
shout out to Peasy for
being a bitch and not being here.
being quiet throughout the entire podcast.
Yeah, it's great.
Honestly, I'm glad.
We included her in the fucking art too, and this is what she
Well,
repays
yeah,
for.
yeah, exactly.
You piece of shit.
Also,
What insolence!
another $10 from Everywhere. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Text to speech is not on at the moment because there's no way for me
No,
to
that's
tell
fair.
Kaz and Mario to shut up while something's going and not have that happen like constantly.
Yeah.
So it'll be there and maybe the message will show up. I'll probably end up reading it anyway, but the whole point of this podcast is kind of just us hanging out. So at some point, yeah, I'll try and talk to chat and do the shout outs, and they will too when we see them. But if I miss something, please don't get mad at me because I don't have any of the alerts like audio wise, so I might miss it while I'm leaning back, staring at the roof, trying to come up with something to say. So
I'm also looking at chat.
Well, that was let's talk about Satisfactory. That's a cool game.
Satisfactory
Yes,
It's an interesting game.
well, it's a pretty interesting idea because the people who played it obviously played Factorio. Because it's basically you're doing the same thing that you'd be doing in Factorio, but you're doing it first person in a world that's like a 3D
Yeah.
plane where you don't really have that going on in Factorio. And I mean, Factorio is not only logistics and numbers, but Satisfactory feels more logistics and numbers because you have to work around the world around you, and that could be a lot of fun. And some people just like ridiculously long conveyor belts, which are also fun. But I'll tell people, don't play Satisfactory without a friend. Don't do it.
Well, I feel like you don't really want super long conveyor belts because, like, after a while, the polygon count, if you have a shit ton of really long conveyor belts, the polygon count in your world is just going to get higher and higher, and they're all going to be moving at the same time.
But I'll tell you, it is
It's going to get shittier and shittier.
It's pretty well optimized. There's a lot of shit that I've seen people do, and they've been able to put up ridiculously large factories, and it doesn't hurt the game too bad. It's pretty optimized for that. One dude had to make a conveyor of he made a tornado conveyor belt, and it's just this gigantic fucking tornado of conveyor belts that goes all the way like to the skybox. It gets wider and wider.
I saw that YouTube video.
Yeah, and that's the limit in that one small area. But if you spread all of that out, I mean, it works really surprisingly well. Like and at some point you have to have long conveyor belts. I mean, you have to. Because
Well, I feel like my ultimate goal is to go on that shitty ass spire and make a factory centered around that horrible spire.
And you could do that. It gives you a lot of you're not going to have a whole lot of problems in Satisfactory with that won't fit there. There's a lot. They give you a lot of leeway on that.
Yeah.
And I think that game doesn't get enough credit for A, its optimization, and B, it's just kind of a fun concept. It's like, hey, do you like Factorio? Here's it in 3D. Have fun building around the mountain that you're talking about, the spire of conveyor belts that it's going to be going up that. It's going to look fucking sick. And, yeah, like what Sinless just said about the game running fine as long as you don't look at the tornado. And a lot of the stuff you're going to be building, you're not going to be looking at directly anyway. So it just turns into numbers. So they do a pretty good job with that. I've been surprised. But the problem with Satisfactory is like mini crafting survival games, quotation mark. You without anybody to appreciate it with, you're not having as much fun. That's just
What the fuck?
Kaz dropped something. That's just how I feel. I don't like playing it on my own because I'll come up with this like I'll stack something and make it real pretty, and I'll build all this super efficient shit, and I'll be like, man, I wish the friends I had played this game with previously could see this, but they can't because they're not here, and who cares?
Well, I
No,
think there's like a good part to playing alone and with people. Because I'm not very good at games like Satisfactory. So when I play alone, it's like me sitting there rubbing my 2 brain cells trying to make a spark. It's like, okay, how the fuck do I make a conveyor belt using this?
high IQ
Oh,
needed.
ape brain, please.
High IQ needed for Satisfactory.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I'll give
it's my-
the other thing I'll give Satisfactory is that the devs listen to people.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they are super with the community. They make jokes about stuff. At one point, one of their whole trailers for the new expansion was just a person unable to build something in a weird way, and the character is just getting more and more irritated about it. And then finally they just give up and go do something else, and there's something else as big and beautiful and all that. And they know they have their issues. They know they have their whatever, and they're working on them. And they're always taught when people ask for shit, it normally happens. They asked for pipes, they got pipes. They wanted these tubes that transport you from one spot to another, like Futurama. It's in the
pipe.
game. They have the Futurama tubes in the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
you can
cool.
you can build them and go from one spot to the other, and you can use them as a launching tube to get to another part of the map.
That's really cool.
There's
That's
even
fun.
there's jump pads. There's a little shopping cart you drive around. There's all this stupid shit.
I saw
that you
the
can
fucking
build.
jump pad. I'm like, my factory's like 2 feet tall. What do I need this for?
Oh, you will in the future. It just gets bigger and bigger. And of course, the more people that's one of those things that if you have a dedicated group of people who really want to just turn the world into factory, that's gonna scale up so fast that you're gonna be building jump pads and shit like that. I mean, it's crazy. Like Libra, that was years ago. When did Sinless get Green Sword? That was like a year ago.
Yeah, that was years ago.
Yeah.
What about you, Mario? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing?
He's just
The
gonna
last
play
thing that
PvP.
I've played, like, no. The last thing that I played, like, video game wise, which is actually a funny story. I played I was playing like Jackbox games with Kill Switch's normal friends, and
As opposed to the non-normal friends. As opposed to the non-normal friends.
Yeah, me, the disgusting troglodyte that joined this game. I feel like
that's
the
true.
internet gremlin.
Yeah, the internet gremlin, pretty much. Or it's like it felt really funny because I was probably like just really off-putting to everybody. We did the T-shirt game, and somebody drew like somebody drew a cat with an exposed asshole as like a joke, and people were like, "That's disgusting. Who drew that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's right. Nobody knows what you draw." So I just started drawing the worst shit I could do.
Why?
Why? I redrew that cat, but I did it really well. And
Yeah, 4K asshole.
Killswitch was just really quiet about it.
That is definitely that kind of situation. You invite your friend over to your other friend group, and you're just like, "Don't embarrass me," and then they do, 100%.
Yeah.
This guy's pretty
worst.
cool. He's like an artist and stuff. Oh.
The worst that I did was I had a point where my art ones were so well done that they were just my t-shirts fighting against each other. And the one that I had that cracked me up the most was there was a point where I had a hot dog where the end was a dog's head, and at the bottom in very bold text I just wrote "dog dicks." And another, the one that it fought against was I drew a waifu with massive tits, and I just put anime in bold text underneath it. And they like I kept adding bold text, and like they still had the option to add a random phrase. Also, that game annoyed me because I would end up with everybody else's shitty designs and shitty, like, not funny things, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna win.
Yeah,
I'm giving the content.
I have.
I've always wanted to play Jackbox.
It's a fun game.
I've never sat down with something like that. I'm not into party games all that much. Like
I own
Yeah.
one of them, but it's not the one that I want to play. I want to play that like horror house trivia one.
horror house trivia.
Yeah, you have to like answer trivia questions or else you fucking die. But at the end of the game, you get to steal life, like because you can only win if you're alive.
Do you know what
So when the
kind of
last
trivia questions?
it's like everything under the fucking sun.
Oh, okay.
Like it's no holds barred. It's
Trivia
like fucking
murder
How long
Jeopardy.
is a duck penis?
How long? Isn't it like
9 inches.
I was gonna say 10.
It's like 9 to 10 inches.
I have to process that
That's
for just like a minute.
yeah. It's really good to know.
Yeah.
Like because if you're like out in the wild and you need like a lasso, you could like strangle Donald Duck and like
Well,
have him
if you're
like,
out in the wild and you lock eyes with the duck, it's fight or flight, dude.
That sounds
yeah,
right.
they might try to fuck you.
For both you and the duck.
That sounds
Yeah.
right. That sounds accurate.
Because the duck might try to fuck you.
Have you ever been attacked by a goose? I have many
I have.
times.
I have, yes.
Those sons of bitches are mean.
I haven't.
Dude, geese are,
Blight upon the earth.
they're so bad. There was a lake back in Orlando that had tons of swans and geese, and man, all those poor kids walking up, they're like, I'm gonna feed the birds with the bread, and then the fucking things just see food, and then they tilt their face up in the air and start running right at you. They're just
They're-
they're not good.
There was a point when I was in, I think like kindergarten. I remember very vividly that we went out for recess and some kids shouted out, "Look, there's a mother duck with little baby ducks. I'm gonna go pet it." And he like ran out. And
No.
the supervisor looked at him and they said, "Wait, no." And it like flew out at him. And he like ran off while this fucking big duck started flying at him.
Yeah, that sounds right.
They're the fucking worst.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of
They're so aggressive.
I'm not a big fan of avians in general, but I'll tell you what, geese.
I mean, I've owned birds before, but geese are something different.
There was one bird they had, that Teggy's family had. It was an African gray, and they're supposedly really smart. This one had learned the word no, and knew how to say no when it should say no, but then said no to everything, which really gave us the impression that it didn't like people very much. It loved Techie, didn't like anybody else, but that bird that's my experience with birds. Really, I don't really have a bunch of friends that are birds. I had friends with iguanas. I had a friend with a gator. I had a friend with an eel that lived in a big ass tank. That guy had more money than we did, and all kinds of weird pets. But not birds. Most of my friends were never into birds. And
I was never into birds, but my family ended up adopting some birds. It was twice. When I was a kid, a bird nest fell out of a fucking tree. And I think I'm the one that found it, and I took it home, and we ended up raising the birds and releasing them.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was older, we ended up adopting 4 lovebirds and 1 cockatiel. Now the lovebirds, only one of them,
Did they make love?
Yeah, actually, they made some eggs, but none of them hatched.
Hell yeah.
Well, only 1 lovebird is alive today, and that thing's like fucking 10 years old. It's like 15 years old. It won't fucking die.
Crazy.
Is it loud?
No.
Good.
It just keeps to itself in its little cage.
Because I swear, that's the other repulsion for birds.
Dude, when there were 4 of them, oh my god, it would not stop.
Yeah, that's my revulsion from birds. They're just so fucking loud.
But the cockatiel was really nice. She was named Susie, and she was actually really smart. She could land on your finger. She would eat from your hand, and she could say the F word.
That's pretty cool.
We all teach them bad words.
Well, that's the only word she knew, because I would always say that. Susie ended up running away.
My grandma had 2 little birds, but I remember I never really liked them just because that was pretty much the problem of all they would do is be really loud.
Yeah.
They just chirp all the time.
My uncle also had a cockatiel. I'm pretty sure his name was Joey. And Joey was a fucking asshole. He
They're
was
all
albino.
assholes. Yeah.
Well, he was albino, so he was like a double dickhead. He was really aggressive, and he
Double
had these piercing red eyes. And when people were over and he didn't like them, he would mimic phone notifications to fuck with you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They learn.
He's
They learn the
a-
most annoying shit possible.
Joey was a fucking cocksucker. He bit me a bunch.
That one I was talking about learned how to do the microwave beep. It would always mimic the microwave beep, which was, of course, as high
Poor
pitched as
bastards.
possible.
Yeah.
One thing that was funny is if your phone rang, the bird would answer, and it was
Hello.
like it would be like
Hello.
it would say, "Oh, hi, how are you? Oh yeah, and then it would just be nonsense after that because it didn't know how to do every word.
Continue
But it
conversation.
knew that's what the response to that sound was, and it did that sound.
Yeah.
And the only thing I ever taught it was I tried to get it to do the Close Encounters theme. The da-na-na-na-na. And I tried that for like an hour, and right before I was going to give up, it finished it. I was like, da-na-na, and she's like, da-na. I was like, oh, fuck! And I just kept doing it until she did it like maybe once or twice, and then never did it again. And I was like,
She
whatever,
just
I
wanted
win.
you to shut up.
Yeah, I know. I was like, finally, this bird was worth something for 5 minutes.
How would you feel if the bird that like learned how to answer a phone call, instead of trying to continue conversation, what they said after saying "Hello, how are you," they just cut off with a very like rough sounding voice and just say, "That's what you sound like."
Oh, teaching a bird as an answering machine, it seems like a lot of work, but when you did it, you could make some money on YouTube with that, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
Get some of that big YouTube money. I
You'd
wasn't
make
like
one
you guys
video.
know. I'm not a pets person, which it's kind of funny because out of all the people that I know, I've had the most experience with animals. I did
That is funny.
the Back to Nature back in Florida. There were rescues, things like that. Then I had, obviously the horse ranch, that kind of thing. And I've been surrounded by animals until like now in this period of my life where there are no animals in my life, and I like that.
Well, yeah, after you retired from the rodeo clown job, you kind of
Yeah, I was it was
disappeared
a
from the
rodeo.
animal
That's
world.
exactly what I did. I was a
Yeah.
rodeo clown. Very, very true.
That's exactly. Well, I mean, you still do
It's a
that.
very noble profession.
Yeah,
Nobody
rodeo
really
clown.
does it anymore. It hurts.
It hurts. I don't like
You
the
have to look
rodeo.
like that.
I'm not a big fan of the rodeo because even though, like I said, I'm not an animal person.
Never been to one.
I am
Same.
so far against animal cruelty of all types, and I've seen what goes into most rodeos. I've seen what goes into most horse racing, things like that. No, thank you. That is,
Yeah.
I can't. Even though I don't
Do
even
that
like
to an
horses,
animal.
yeah, I just can't. I don't even like most animals. And of course I'm a classic story with that too. I'm the guy who's like your dad, who's like, you fucking get a dog or a cat, can't fuck, you gotta do that, you're not gonna feed them. And then as soon as we get one, I'm the guy who says what a stupid fucking animal while buying the most expensive ass food you could give it. I'm
Yeah.
that dude. I'm the dude who named the dog Dumbass, but it sleeps on my couch with me, and I give it like the best toys and shit. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Well, I hate it. Like I just look at, well, what a fucking waste of money, you stupid piece of shit, and then I just start.
My dogs are treated better than I am.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, that's what I end up doing, and so I'll be the first dude if I go to a ranch property and I see like a dog has scars on its neck from a collar. I'll be the first guy in line to kick that guy's ass. 100%.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day. Just my mom was cooking in the kitchen, and I just see my little dog running around her legs, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "This is an animal. Why the hell are you in my house?"
Who is this?
I was thinking about the concept of pets in your house. Isn't it kind of fucked up?
Oh yeah.
You just have this fucking thing in your house.
Yeah. And
Like,
mean,
don't get me wrong, I love dogs and
Yeah.
animals, but like, fuck are you doing in my house? Look at your stupid little paws on my wood. Look
If
at your
you-
dumb fucking face polluting my air.
well, don't have kids.
Oh, I'm way ahead of
What are
you.
you doing? You're supposed to have jobs.
I
One of the
already got rid of the one I made.
I'll never know.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus. I'll never know the feeling of a parent who has the Kool-Aid house, where at any point in time
Oh, yeah.
you can go downstairs and there'd be this strange child that's not your kid getting something out of the fridge, and you just have to deal with that because that's your friend's friend's friend who came over because they had nowhere else to go. And I always try to be nice to those parents when I had a friend with a Kool-Aid house for that reason. Because just imagine that, like,
Yeah.
who the hell is this? Oh, that's Kevin from whatever, my music class. And they're like, okay, whatever.
Are you friends with them?
They're drinking a lot of juice.
Not really.
That ain't free. That doesn't grow on trees.
Over at the my friend's cottage, it's basically the whole time there. You're basically at the Kool-Aid house, but it's not just Kool-Aid you're allowed to get. If you want to get fucked up, you can get fucked up, and for that, I was so grateful.
Oh yeah.
I was like, give me some of. I need some of that green stuff.
I had
No, not that green stuff.
I had a roommate a long time ago who his mother would do that, and she would come out of the back porch with us smoking, and she'd be like, "Here comes the mom tax," and fucking grab her ass a nice pinch with her bowl and her crap, and then she would retreat to her room, and you wouldn't see her ass for another 6 to 8 hours, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
But she'd come out, here's the mom tax here it comes, the mom tax. Fucking sometimes
Here comes the mom tax.
Let me tell you,
Some for mom.
Mom tax was like European tax numbers. She fucking took that shit.
I was talking to my mom about it. I'm like, it's illegal here now. You don't have to fucking care that much about it. Because she was like, oh, grandma keeps complaining, or her mom, my grandma, keeps complaining about back pain. I'm like, you know what my friend's mom does? She just takes some of the oil, the CBD oil, because it really relaxes your body.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, yeah, but it's going to smell. I'm like, you really think a 94-year-old woman is going to put on oil that smells like fucking weed? No. It's scented, you moron.
Right. And even if it did, who cares? Once she feels it the first time, she doesn't give a shit what it smells
I even
like.
said it to my mom. I'm like, why don't you just buy it yourself? It's pretty inexpensive, and just see how it works.
I'll never forget the first time I smoked pot in front of my grandmother. And she comes out, she goes, "That's not a cigarette, is it?" I was like, no, it's not. And she kind of looked at me, and then she goes, "Oh my God, I've smelled that before." And I started laughing, and because I knew it wasn't from me either. I never smoked on their property. This is like the first time ever. And she goes, "My brother's room behind the bleachers at the high school. Oh my God, that's what that is."
It all makes sense now.
How can you be that stupid?
That's a weed-a-roni.
That's what that is. Oh my God!
I've been surrounded by the devil's cactus
all the time, and then everything she started to think about her brothers back in North Florida. That was it. Now everything makes sense, and they ate all the time. That's what it was.
Well, it could also be that they're boys, but whatever.
Yeah, it could. Oh God, the combination of that.
I remember the first time I ever smoked weed. Oh my God. Now that I think about it, that was horrible. Why did I do that? Because it was my older brother and some of his friends that come over to our house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had constructed using 2 2-liter bottles. So you take 2-liter bottle, 2 2-liter bottles, and you stack one on top of the other so the mouths are touching. So it looks like a big dumb barbell.
Right.
And you tape that shit closed, and you fill it halfway with water. And then you put the smoking bowl at the top, and when you burn the weed and then flip the thing around, it like vacuums up the air to do the thing.
Oh yeah,
it's a gravity bomb.
Yeah, it's a gravity bomb.
And it's one of the strongest hits you'll ever take in your life. And that was the first time I ever smoked weed. And I was like on the couch, like eviscerated. I was like, dude, I'm a fucking floating brain.
Yeah, no, I'm not real.
And we were sitting there listening to the gorillas, and I was like, this is so fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
I like Vagrant's answer in the chat. So you made a preschool whirlpool experiment.
Yeah, it was fucking sick.
Yep.
I was fucking blasted.
First time I
Like,
ever smoked weed, I don't even remember. It was I know I started going out to parties, and I guess somebody had peer pressured me. But I do remember the first time I understood its importance when I
the importance.
yeah, I remember the importance because I was sitting there and I was like, man, I feel like I could take an awesome nap, just the
Yep.
best fucking nap ever. And I never sleep. I'm always awake and I hate it. My insomnia is so bad. I'm just going to go home and see if that sticks with me. Sure enough, I had like the best night's sleep of my life. And I fucking woke up next day. I was like, well, I guess that's it.
Yep.
I guess I'm going to smoke pot to go to sleep. And I did that for the next 2 or 3 years before I just got tired of dealing with the drama of buying it. I got tired of
Oh,
the expense. I got tired of the people that I knew that smoked it, and after a while, I just quit. And then it was around the time I was like, I'm gonna quit drinking too. So I
Yeah.
stopped that, and I don't know. But now that it's legal here, well, legal is a strong word, but now that nobody enforces it and there's special rules and crap, the moment there's a distributor or whatever that opens, I'm gonna walk right into that shit and be like Acapulco Gold, and I'm gonna go to sleep. Like that's gonna be me because all of the drama will be taken out of it.
Meanwhile, I'm fucking grinding some shit right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. But that's
I
dispensary.
remember. I
Whatever.
remember the worst time I ever hit it.
Distributing.
I was literally on the bathroom floor, like, after I hit it. It was, so there were multiple factors that led up to this. I hadn't smoked in like 6 months because I was broke and didn't have a supplier,
Hmm.
and it wasn't my bong, so I wasn't used to it. It was a small bong,
oh.
and I hadn't eaten anything all day, but I had drunk a little bit because I was at his house.
Mistake after mistake after mistake.
So it was just like, and I packed a big bowl.
Oh yeah.
And I smoked I took all the smoke in one breath and I didn't cough once. I'm still impressed I managed to do that. I was not impressed 5 minutes later when I realized my vision is going red and blue.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like having trouble standing. I'm like, oh my god, I'm fucking dying.
That's it.
And
It's over.
it feels like my head is being compressed by like a 50-ton press, and I'm like, I have to lie down.
It sounds
And
like
my friend's like, are you all right? And I'm like, where's the bathroom? I might puke.
yeah.
And so I'm sitting in his bathtub like for like 15 minutes while I'm like, I feel like I'm actually gonna explode. Like I feel like I'm gonna pull up. I can't make that joke.
Did you?
I feel like I'm gonna. I feel like my head's just gonna do that, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like,
I see what you're talking about.
It looked like my head was just gonna do that. It felt both. I've never felt anything like that in my life, and I hope I never feel something like that again.
That's like the
head
first
explode,
time I ever.
fucking Clone High style.
It was bad.
I
I didn't puke though, and I ended up going back to the bong after I recovered.
the first time I took acid, and this was the only time I ever took acid in my life. This is what scared me from anything pill related or whatever, other than like painkillers. Um, I waited 47 minutes for that to kick in, and I had thought my buddy got ripped off. We've all had that moment, like this is not what the fuck. And it was at a Mexican friend's house that had his mother had all this Catholic shit fucking everywhere, and right next to the couch was Mother Mary, and she looked at me. And that's I have never in my life gone from I'm ready to trip, let's go for that, to
Yo, this oregano is crazy.
I'm leaving. Like, and that's the first thing I did. As soon as Mother Mary looked at me, which as an atheist was a problem, that was not good for me. I stood up and I said I gotta go, and I had the hardest time getting home because I knew my brain, everything was working in my brain. I was like, yes, I am conscious, I'm thinking clearly. Just nothing is reacting the way I want it to. And when the road is curving and you're not sure if you're on the road or the sidewalk, that is a terrifying fucking moment. Like you have no idea. And I finally made it back home, and I look over at my crappy mattress on the floor that didn't have a sheet at the time, so it had that floral arrangement. I'm watching them just ooze and choke each other. And even though I knew it
Mhm.
wasn't real, I wasn't going to lay down on that.
Yep.
That wasn't
That's
going to happen.
exactly what happened.
That was
That's
no way.
I still think the moment where I was like, I'm too fucked up for this was when I was standing in the middle of a rushing river on a barge some guy I don't know made from scrap metal, and I'm blasted off my asshole on mushrooms. And I'm like, I can't swim. This water's moving really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wearing a life jacket. There might be 10 other people on this barge. They're all fucked up too.
Oh yeah, that's
The guy driving the barge is fucked up, and he's got a beer in his hand.
that's the worst. I would not
I
want to be in
forget
that
I shouldn't be
situation.
on this barge. And then I took a piss in the river.
I shouldn't be here.
As-
I have to piss.
As you do. Well, speaking of piss, I actually now have to piss because I've been taking a bunch of fucking medicine today.
Hell yeah.
Piss
So
if you want.
I'm going to do that and pretend that I didn't on this podcast that is super professional and awesome. So you guys
What-
keep exchanging that.
All right. Sin, let's ask, what the fuck country do you live in? I live in Canada.
Yeah, he lives in Canada.
That happens in a developed nation. Well, I'm not from a developed nation, but I do live in Canada. Dude, going to my friend's cottage is the stupidest shit in the world. I've cut open my hand in caves. I fucking held my phone when I'm like waist deep in water, fucking around in a cave. It's the dumbest shit in the world, but it's so fun. I broke my tailbone on some slippery ass rocks when we were climbing up a dried up river. I drove an ATV through a dirt bike track, and that is not safe, fun, or educational.
Oh, I remember when you were telling us about that. You had like pictures and everything.
The worst ATV ride I ever took was when we went up. So there's a certain spot we go to where it's up a mountain.
Yeah.
So if you go there and it faces west. So if you go there during sundown, you can see the sunset over the lake and the forest. And it's really
Mhm.
beautiful. And I have a bunch of pictures of it. But when we drove up there, I drove my own ATV. And I was like, I've never driven this at night. And I've never driven this path before, much less backwards at night. So because you have to go downhill backwards.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to be able to drive this shit back. I wasn't even fucked up or anything. I'm just like,
Well, no, it's just like
I'm going to be, because I was at the back of the group too. So it was like, if they leave me behind, what the fuck am I going to do? It was the scariest shit in the world. Driving around in a pitch black forest, following taillights while dust is everywhere. You know how fucking scary that is? And an ATV is fucking heavy. If that shit, if you roll and like it pins you down, you're fucked. You're dead.
RuneSmith official in chat said, I fucking flipped an ATV as a kid and my dad drove past me because he thought I was pranking him.
Oh yeah, there's been many of accidents at my friend's cottage. There was an accident where two people were going 80 down a dirt road and didn't see the turn, and they just slammed into a like the hill where the turn went, and they went fucking flying. I think they must have went like 40 feet down the field. My brother ended up underneath his ATV, but luckily it rolled over him, so it didn't actually hit him.
Mm-hmm.
And another guy hit a rock and fell into the river with that one time. There was this one time we almost fell.
Very dangerous.
There was this one time we drove our ATVs over a chasm, and just as me and my friend were the last ones to get across, the bridge broke.
Holy shit.
So it was by this abandoned trailer where a bear used to live. The bear was gone by that point, but there was this pit. I don't know how to describe it. It was a pit. It was like a mine shaft. It led to fucking nowhere, and there was just like two plywood boards acting as a bridge to get from one side to the other. So my friend's like, yeah, whatever. Let's just drive across this in 4 ATVs. And so we do that and realize, oh shit, this is a dead end. I guess we got to drive back over the bridge. And he lets everyone else go first. And I'm looking at the bridge and I'm like, dude, we can't drive across this. Are you stupid? And he's like, just hold on to the back. We'll be fine. And I'm like, all right. Life is a cutscene anyways.
All right, I'm back.
And he fucking drives across these like rotting, broken, cracked
In
plywood
a
beam.
hole.
And as soon as our back wheel gets onto the floor, I see it crack and fall into the hole. And I say nothing to the guy in front of me because I'm like, he can't know about this. He can't know about that. He can't know that we just did that.
Things that we've hid from our parents. I got caught skinny dipping once in the community that my dad lived in, and I remember because the security guard that found us, thank God it was him because he was kind of one of us, just a stupid motherfucker. And the first thing I did when I saw him and he saw my naked ass standing over the pool was, "Hey, watch me do a backflip," and I did it.
I think the worst. Oh no, keep going.
I didn't tell my dad that for years because I knew he'd be so fucking mad. Because if they had actually reported that, we could have gotten kicked out of that whole community. And I didn't tell him that for fucking ever. And then when I did tell him that, the first thing out of his mouth was, "Well, I know this guy didn't catch you, or I'd known about it." I said, "Yep." And he goes, "That was probably Jared, wasn't it?" I was like, "Yeah, it was." Because I knew he had trouble looking at me in the eye for a while. I wonder what that was about. Like, probably because he'd seen his son butt ass naked doing a backflip into a pool. Oh man,
I'm so glad my friend's my friend who owns the cottage, his brother who basically lives at the cottage is a hunter. I'm really thankful he's just a massive pothead.
Oh yeah, we've all
So
got
it's just
those
like
friends.
it's just like everywhere. He's got like 2 or 3 jars, and when I say jars, I mean like pounds
Oh yeah,
of this stuff because he grows it himself, and it's like, man, I love being here.
he keep those in masons.
Yeah,
Big mason jars. I've seen that.
yeah. And it fucking, I remember one time I'm like, oh shit, I ran out of all the weed that I brought, and we're only like halfway through the week, and he just comes out holding this, you know, those industrial size Ziploc bags.
Oh yeah,
He just comes out holding an entirely packed bag of that, and he's like, here. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, how much do I owe you? And he's like, because I'm high as shit, I'm like, how much do I owe you? And he just kind of smiles at me and pats me on the back and walks away.
oh man.
And I'm like, what a fucking Chad.
That, or he's not gonna tell you yet.
Yeah, I would have paid him, but
You're gonna walk in. You're gonna walk in there, and he's gonna have like chains on the wall. He's gonna be in an outfit. And he's like, so, let me tell you my safe word, and let me remind you how much I gave you.
Maybe if he didn't already had a fucking fiance. His fiance's a weird girl.
She might be there too. Then you never know.
I've never seen a more dysfunctional yet functional couple. Because
people like that.
She's basically a train wreck of a human being. She's got so many health problems, and he has health problems, but he's the opposite, where he doesn't give a fuck about any of them.
Right.
Oh.
Whereas she's like, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, so I gotta keep doing this every day. And he's like, yeah, I got diabetes.
I hate that.
When's the last time you checked your insulin? I didn't.
I really hate that kind of shit. Like, as somebody who used to cook for people, when I hear that type of thing, I'm like, man, bring your own shit. Really, at the end of the day,
she does.
Okay,
she absolutely
good. All right,
does.
good. Then that's fine.
She's really cool about it.
And then I retract my statement because when I have run into those people, I have just wanted to fucking die. And I swore I almost got mad at Teggy's family because I was doing that keto thing, right? And they're like, "Oh, well, we bought this because we know he's on keto." I was like, "You don't have to do that shit. I'll just not eat or don't, But I know just leave it alone. I'm not.
Yeah, this is my problem.
Yeah, this is not anyone else's problem of mine. Except when the dad was funny about it. He's like, I made all this stuff, but then I remembered you're on the keto thing, and I was like, that's fine. Don't worry about it. He goes, I hear keto can eat eggs. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I'm gonna go make you some eggs. How many eggs do you want? And I was like,
how many eggs do you have?
That's what I asked. Man. I said, how many eggs you got? And he's like, oh, well, between the chickens, there's probably like 40 or 50 in there we got to get rid of. I was like, 8, no, 10 eggs. I'll eat 10 eggs right now. Sure enough, he laughed and went inside and cooked up 10 eggs and had no problem doing it because they're just awesome people. But for that reason, I have to worry about them going out of their way. I don't want to go out of their way because again, it's my problem. It's my thing that I have to to deal with. I can handle it, Sinless. Don't worry about that.
Cholesterol is a social construct.
I'm telling you. It's just one of those things. That's my problem. I don't expect anybody to deal with it but me.
That lady has so many problems though. She's like, I can't eat food cooked in this oil or this oil. And it's like, oh my god.
Aw.
How do you live?
She has like a peanut allergy or something, right?
She's got a peanut allergy. She's got like specific sensitivities. I'm pretty sure she's allergic to grass.
If you have a peanut allergy, you could
Oh.
never eat at Five Guys. They'll kill you. You'll die.
You can't eat at a lot
My
of
Ben
places.
will step out and beat you.
Yeah, they'll come. Yeah, yeah. If you have a peanut allergy, I don't even think you can walk into the restaurant without having an attack. I mean, it's just so they use peanut oil in everything.
Just fucking smell it in the air and you just fucking collapse right there.
What's that smell?
I'm not allergic to
Oh, peanuts.
I'm not allergic to any
My
type of
EpiPen.
food, thank God. If I had like a shellfish allergy, I just want to die. If I'm not lactose intolerant, I don't have any of those issues. Pollen, I guess, does get to me.
However, am a perfect specimen of a human being and have no allergies.
I don't think
because
that's
I am
true.
not weak. I am evolved. You will be phased out of existence soon.
How are your feet?
On my feet. I gotta cut my toenail.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Is that a new vein on my foot? Where'd that come from?
That's
Nope.
pretty hot.
I guess he doesn't have a perfect feet.
No, I have really fucked up feet actually.
Well, you're not gonna make any money on OnlyFans then.
Fuck!
There's no way.
Not with feet like those.
Yeah, you can't have
Swag,
that.
how could you say that to me? You're ugly. I'm not ugly.
The defensiveness in that.
mean.
I can't.
I'm not ugly.
I'm not ugly. No, we've talked about this before.
My mom said I'm a handsome boy. Leave me alone.
You calling my mom a liar? You better not.
My mom does lie a lot sometimes.
Well, with you, we've talked about it before. Kaz's physical description to me is that of a Bond lieutenant, like the Bond villain, his number one guy, the dude who always dies in the film, but not the major bad guy, just their lieutenant guy, all the time. He's like Oddjob. That's the comparison that I raise in my head when I hear him. He's like either Oddjob or he's Jaws.
I'm just about as hard to hit in real life too.
Oh yeah.
I can show
Intense thing.
PvP me in GoldenEye, bitch.
Slaps only.
Did you guys see that there's a new Perfect Dark coming?
I never got
No?
into Perfect Dark for obvious reasons. Let's jot that
too
one
dark.
down. Let's jot that one down to the main character for obvious reasons.
I never played Perfect Dark, so I don't know.
My buddy had it. He kept telling me how great it was, and I would watch it, and yeah, it had some interesting mechanics, but I'd rather just play GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at the end of the day, we would just play GoldenEye instead. So, and then get mad at each other for picking Oddjob, or say, dude, come on, it's time.
Slappers only.
Yeah, slaps only, bitch. Let's fucking go.
Slaps only.
Let's
It's like
do
that fucking Final Destination only type shit. I remember having stuff like that with my cousins when we
Oh yeah.
got when we got Smash Brothers. It was just like Fox only.
Oh, really? You did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
We
that.
never did that. We always liked the items at my house.
Never. I the moment I got
'Cause
into competitive
well, as-
stuff.
As we all know, Smash isn't a fighting game.
Yeah.
It's a party game.
Oh no!
Kill you.
I'll fucking kill you.
I'm just waiting for a brick to come through my window from Dylan.
As you say that, you just hear it burst open. Ah! You look outside. It's Mario.
I think the worst thing that you could get from Dylan is he wouldn't throw a brick. Dylan would sound disappointed in you, and for some
You'd be like,
reason,
oh, come on, man.
yeah, that would hurt. Yeah, for Dylan to be upset with you, you'd feel that. You'd be like, shit.
You'd have to fuck up really bad for Dylan to actually be upset at you.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of times where I've heard him sound disappointed in me, and he's like, "No." And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a couple points.
I just get mad at him when he does that to me. I'm just, what do you fucking think that's supposed to be? Huh? You can't just fucking. What was that tone? Huh? What was that tone? And he's like, well, you just do it. I was like, I don't live at my house with my parents. I got shit to do. You'll know soon.
I'm a grown man.
You'll know soon enough. But that's really.
Fuck you, Dragon. I like my parents.
Yeah. What a privilege to have a good family.
That is such a big privilege nowadays. God damn.
I know.
That's the sad thing to have that. It's like, I don't know. I have such a shitty relationship with my parents.
I love my parents.
But all right. I'm not trying to do oppression Olympics here.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Hit me with it.
But I mean, you can talk to them. You can go in there and have dinner with them, and I mean, there are people out there. Who literally cannot have a conversation with them without getting into some fight about some dumbass thing 5 years ago, and even beyond that, some of them just won't even talk to you.
Yep.
I mean, that's because
yeah.
y'all just hate each other to that point. I mean, look at me. I mean, everyone knows that. So that's the way it is. But I got a new family with techies people. And that feels so good because it made me have hope that there were families out there like that, because everybody I seem to know had this shitty ass fucking family. Everybody I knew. I guess you're drawn to that when you have that problem. Like you meet those kinds of kids, right? So 'cause you are one of those kinds of kids. So you talk to those type of kids.
Well, yeah, you end up in the same areas.
Yeah, you really start seeing that. And they do shit that would have absolutely crossed my eyes as like a young teen. I would have been like, what do you mean you're not mad about that? Or what do you mean that didn't bother you? Or what do you mean it can get done when it gets done? What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Why aren't you throwing shit around the house because they lied to you or some shit, or and they're like, well, I'm sure they had a reason for it. They didn't want to deal with it at the time. Like, what the fuck? What? If that happened in my house, there'd be blood. There'd be blood on the walls.
When I was younger, I used to be like, I mean, my parents are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, they're just people. Everyone fucks shit up.
Yeah.
No one. Yeah. There's no such thing as a perfect parent.
And I came to realize that with my dad. That was a big thing. I had to be an adult for us to be friends.
Yeah.
That was a thing. And also we had to be like really far away from each other.
Yeah.
And that that made us miss each other and relate to what was going on. And he on his part, he did not know how to talk to kids. He was very bad with kids. And if you don't have something in common with him, he doesn't know how to talk to you. He just doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't know how to do it. He's one of those people, and I forgive him for that. But now that I'm an adult and I can see the cards he was dealt between my mother, her family, me, he didn't do that bad of a job, because damn, I don't know what I'd do. You have a kid like me. What do you fucking do about that?
Well, I started getting along more with my parents after I realized that they were just people, but I started getting a lot more comfortable around my dad because I realized not only do I look just like him, I act a lot like him too.
Oh yeah.
We're both like, if there's a chance to fuck with you for no reason, we'll just take it. And we'll gaslight you like, no, we're not doing that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what
when you're like, where's my phone? And it's like obviously in my pocket. I don't know.
I have like
my dad will do that to my mom all the fucking time, and I'll do it to everybody in the house.
Chip off the old block, being a thief and all that.
Yeah,
well, there was this one time where me and my dad are sitting at the dinner table, and my mom is sitting on the couch on her phone, and she's like, "Can someone turn on the TV, please?" And I'm not doing it. And my dad's like, "Yeah, just wait. I'm doing something. Wait like 5 minutes." And 10 minutes pass, and I look at my dad, and he looks at me, smiles, and looks back down at his computer. And my mom's again is like, "Can someone please turn off the TV?" And my dad's like, "Will you just wait? I'm busy. I'm gonna do it." And it's like 30 minutes later when my older brother comes up from the basement, and my mom's like, "Turn on the TV." And my dad pretends to be mad. He's like, "Why didn't you wait? I was almost done."
God.
And she just fucking slaps his leg.
Well, at that point, Your mom could have just done it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Like
That's why he's not doing it.
that's a
That's the
ridiculous.
funny
Yeah, see, that's where I would have just I would turn that over, and that wouldn't even have happened in my place. They would have been, hey, could you turn off the TV? You fucking do it. That would have been the end of that immediately. Like fucking what? You got legs? Shit. I don't have time for this. And then get an argument about something else that you didn't also have time for. That's that's how it'll go. It'll get worse and worse as time goes by.
Yeah.
But not between me and Techie. Techie and I are at no point do we ever argue or mess with each other like that, because that just makes him sad, and I can't do that. I can't have a sad Techie. I just can't do that.
Yeah, I see. I see what you mean.
I got so mad once over the phone that he left the house because he had never seen me like that before and wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be.
Right.
And he was like, "I'm out of here, just in case he starts throwing shit. I'm out,
Yeah.
right?" And
I didn't want to see you become like Super Saiyan God or anything.
yeah, he didn't want to see that. But what he doesn't know about me is I spent my life having other people's anger projected onto me. And so I made the promise to myself, like subconsciously and consciously, that I don't do that. That's just something I don't do. It's if they're not the cause of the issue, I don't even look at them. I don't even like engage them as a presence. And as soon as I hung up that phone, I like looked over to where he was, because he is there no longer, and I was like, "Can you believe this shit?" And then he's just gone. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was just total mood shift, off the phone from screaming, foaming at the mouth to nothing. And I go outside confused. I was like, "What the fuck?" And he's like standing by the car. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You were scary." I was like, "I don't know what that." All right, go back inside. I'm not scary anymore. I had to do that, and I didn't know what that said about like me going crazy or him just making that decision. Like, I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do. I'm fucking out. I'm out of here. Maybe it was the right decision. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that's the only time that happens. So I always watch how angry I get around him for that reason.
Yeah.
And that's part of having like that partnership with somebody in a house, is knowing their limit on what they can handle emotionally. And your family doesn't respect that. Nobody respects that in a family, and everybody just goes crazy. They just get worse and worse, So, that was the point I was leading into, is if family does not respect your emotional boundary on how much you're willing to deal with, they don't respect that, and nobody respects theirs either. So it just gets worse and worse in a family, so bad, so
Well, I'm
quickly.
lucky that my family's pretty good at that, except for my older brother. He's the only one of us that's shit at it.
He just like loses it.
Yeah, he'll get fucking extremely pissed at no reason for the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
And like he's generally like a normal guy, but sometimes he'll just be really fucking annoying for no reason. Or like he'll be really pissy and like scream at my mom, and I'm like, she just asked you to mow the lawn. What, are you pissed off? Did your ass hurt again? You're going in for surgery tomorrow.
Oh man.
Oh, is he gonna get put on the iron fucking thing?
The iron lung, yeah.
Yeah, the iron lung.
Yeah.
After he got hit by that, goat, he was never the same.
That's a big ass goat.
Yeah. Well, no, there were 7 of them that my dad bought.
7 goats.
Yeah.
Well, look, Kaz, this is what happens when you don't make the goats happy.
Well, yeah, that's why I got to get better.
Yeah,
I don't want to end up like him. Well,
Yeah.
but more seriously,
I hate goats.
Some people just have really bad emotional reading skills.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like some people are just like blind to it. It's like, can you not see that I don't really want to talk to you right now?
Yeah.
Do I really have to say it?
Well, it's almost like it gets worse. Like they see it.
Well, no, because they get 9 times out of 10 they get mad that they're reading it wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's your fault.
Yeah, it's like, well, you're mad at me?
Yeah.
I have
something you're doing. My older brother does that a lot.
I have that problem with my dad a lot, where it's like they're just kind of fucking ignorant about shit sometimes, and it's very frustrating.
My older brother's interesting because he's pretty smart about certain things, but on a lot of stuff, he's just stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid as fuck.
Like, he knows how to put a computer back together again in like 10, 15 minutes. But like, I listen to the... No, I can't make that joke.
But I listened to the DoDCast.
Yeah. Well, no. What could I... I can't make that joke either.
Oh no!
I can't make a lot of this.
Oh fuck! Oh shit!
Juggling bad takes over here.
My dog.
You're just sitting there, fucking building up sweat. It's like, oh fuck! Oh wait! Oh shit! Oh no!
My brother has had a lot of bad takes in the past, and to be fair, I have educated them every time he tells me one, and he eventually comes around to my point of view.
That's good.
That he's
At least
listening.
he's learning.
Like, I remember back when I was he was in high school and I was younger than him, and we're driving around in his car, and he starts telling me how there it was just this one time he said this, but it made me like kind of look at him for the first time as like, what? He was talking about how he thinks that if you spend a lot of money on a girl, you should get something back from her, and I'm like, what?
No!
What are you talking
That
about?
works.
I'm like, and he's like, yeah, if you bring her to like an expensive restaurant, I better be getting something. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not entitled to shit.
That's all right. I get I'm kind of back and forth on that one. That's
well, if you're obviously being used, it's like, well, shit. But if you expect that every single time, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's contextual shit, right? But here's where I'll separate that.
Contextual.
No matter what dinner date you've made, that you are entitled to nothing. That is not.
Yeah.
Well, I got a day by day thing. However, my dad, and this was. I don't think I've ever laughed.
I remember this story.
I don't think I've ever laughed harder than this with my dad. He gets kind of close with this woman. They've gone on a few dates. Things have been whatever, and he just says to her, he says, "Hey, I got a big bonus check. I want to go down to Daytona, and I want to get a nice hotel or whatever, and I'd like you to come with me, you know." And she goes, "Oh, sure, right." And this is a girl getting now a free vacation, is going to eat well the whole time, and they're going to spend the night together in the room or whatever. But then she says,
"Yeah,
I hope you don't expect any hanky-panky." Is
What
what
the
she
fuck?
says. Right? Now, okay, again, my dad is not entitled to sex.
Did she really say it like that?
Yes,
though?
she did. Yeah, because, they're like...
but he's entitled to say, well, plans canceled. Fuck you.
But to just take the hope out of the man who is now about to drop like fucking $3 or $4 grand on your
punched
ass.
him in the gut.
Yeah, like you changed the whole subtext of. He wasn't even saying, "Hey, come down here and fuck me." He didn't say that.
He's
Well,
not
that's also
he's being subtle.
Yeah, he's
that's
just
also
like,
a few dates later.
yeah, and he's like, "Hey, whatever happens, happens." That's kind of, and that's the way you should take it. If they say no or they're not feeling it, you got to deal with that. But to just say at the beginning, "Hey, thanks for spending these thousands of dollars on me, but before you do that, no, I'm not gonna put out." Like, damn, bitch. That's fucking cold. That's some cold ass shit.
Let the man hope.
Yeah, let him hope a bit, right? That's all
exactly.
it is. Let him hope. Let him. I mean, even if you don't do anything, let him fucking hope. What the fuck's wrong with that? You're gonna throw that out there. So of course, he doesn't say anything. He just kind of goes, uh-huh, and he realizes what a bust of a weekend that's gonna be. But he fucking calls my ass, and I gotta. There's nothing better than getting your dad to call you about how he got blue-balled, and that's the funniest shit because he has no one else to complain to that would understand. So he calls me, and he's just like.
Have you been blue balled before?
No, he's just, well, yeah, I have, but he doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
The whole point is, I'm adult enough and I'm old enough to understand, and I've been trained by him, I've been educated by him to understand why that was bullshit.
Yeah.
And that was, God, it was the funniest fucking thing. I've ever heard from my own father. Just, and I'm not saying that she's not a prostitute. I'm not paying for sex, but you're gonna take that out of the equation just like that it's ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, it is. And I just, oh god, it took me everything not to
Because
burst
I'm
out
a
laughing.
man. I'm an explorer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an explorer.
I'm hot blooded.
Well,
That poor man.
I'd like to talk. I'm not.
You have stories that you can't say.
I'm not comfortable discussing the other hot takes my older brother has had,
I
but they are
understand.
nuclear.
No,
They are absolutely nuclear.
fair
And
enough.
to give credit to my brother, every time I've explained what is wrong with his opinion, he has turned around. It's taken a couple of days, but I'll say for that date one, he turned around immediately after I explained why that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But still, that was like the first time I looked at my older brother and I was like, that's how you think?
That's fucked. Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah, it's
because I can usually tell what my mom or dad is thinking, like their thought process. But him, it's like, how'd you get there?
Yeah.
Where'd you go? You get lost?
What corridor?
Fuck.
It's unbelievable. No, I too cannot talk about that for some family memories that I have. I cannot either. But I understand what it's like when you have someone in the family that is just so.
How does it happen?
Yeah, obstinate. Yeah, it's like where it comes to, and it's changed my opinion on shit. Like when I see stuff on the news and they're like, oh, this guy did this and such. I remember I'm like, well, that there's no signs in my family because all I see is comments like, I wonder what their home life was. Oh, their parents, they didn't get that out of them or they agree with it or whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, I know a lot of people who have had that true black sheep, like real, like not.
They're just
not,
like that.
Yeah, not just quirky person, like a true black sheep that is just like that. And I think there's more of them now because the internet being what it is, they can find each other and reinforce each other's ridiculous ass opinions.
Yeah, like back like a couple decades ago, it was like, oh, some dickheads root you on the street. Now you're an asshole for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But now it's like you watch the wrong YouTube video at 3 years old, you're fucked.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and the algorithm doesn't help.
No, it makes it worse.
Yeah, it just shows more and more of it. I watched a satirical parody video about SpaceX and the flat Earth crap, and even though it was a joke video, all the recommendeds were the real deal.
Yep.
And I thought, this is how they get you. This is how these people do this, and how they get into these people's heads because they just click on video after video, and then some guy who's being a pseudoscientist is like, "Oh yeah, the air flaps is what kept it from going. Whatever, garbage. That's garbage. This is all a scam.
Lizard, man.
GoPro is in on it. The world is flat. Fuck you.
It's a fish island. It's a fish island.
Yeah. Every time, GoPro is in on it because that's." Whatever.
GoPro was in on it.
Not to get too close to the current election problems we're having here in this country. Just driving me insane.
We weren't gonna talk.
Unfucking believable. That is a thing we all have to, what does that bleed into? You've got a bunch of people out there who buy into these ridiculous ass conspiracies. They're going to buy into the local shit that we all have to deal with. They start, they start accusing even game developers of being on some big conspiracy list of, oh, that's their agenda to make you desensitized to gender. It's like, fuck off. Nobody thinks like that. There is no gay agenda or any of that crap.
Gay agenda.
And if there is, they must really hate my ass because I've never been invited. And I'm upset about that. Nobody's ever invited me to the cabal group of gay men trying to turn the world's frogs gay. I never get pulled into that. That sounds fun. It's ridiculous.
The place where I used to work at, there was this janitor that would just talk all the time. And he'd talk about whatever, and he was a big baby. He was this really old dude. But I think the most jarring thing I ever heard him talk about was he went on this 30-minute rant about how he legitimately believes lizard people are real.
Yeah.
and it was very interesting. Just like but there's lizard people. They're real. I've seen a video. I saw a video once.
Nobody
It's real.
wants that to be true more than me, but it's just not there. It's just not there. I wish it was true, but it ain't. And there's a solidarity a lot of people get, and it comes from that idea of the me against the world type thing. The world
Yeah.
wants me to believe this, but I'm too smart for that, so I'm gonna believe this other thing. And I
I'm
like,
still brain.
yeah,
I watched the podcast.
I like people to fight with me, and I like to be, and there's a lot of that I recognize even from like the atheist community. You get a lot of those people who just didn't want to go to church on Sunday morning, and so now they're an atheist, and they want to fight with you about it. They want to argue about it, and you get a lot of that from those other people. And I'm not saying atheists are the same thing because I am one, but you get a lot of that me against the world mentality. I used to
remember
have
that
it
in
when
high
I grew up in the South. That was a big thing. Like everyone I knew was Christian, and I got a little kick out of the fact I wasn't. So, they do the same thing. Everyone around me believes in the round Earth because they're dumb and I don't understand gravity. But
Yeah, I'm an
gonna admit
explorer.
that. Yeah, I'm an explorer. I'm hot
No, I'm an explorer. I got hot cum pumping through my veins.
Should be in there.
But that's where a lot of those guys. That's where a lot of guys come from. Is that me against the world mentality gets addictive because you do feel like you gain energy from the fact all these people disagree with you. So a lot of that comes. But you wanted to be a special little boy. No, I didn't. I didn't want that, Peasy.
I just stayed at home and played video games.
I just drunkenly stumbled upon it, Peasy. That's what happened.
Sometimes my mom would drag me to church and I'd go, but I'd feel like playing video games some more.
Yeah.
And you see all those people walk down the street getting crucified, and it's like, shit.
Yeah.
Why is the Philippines like this?
Yeah.
Thanks, Grandma.
I saw Sinless type what is that? Anunnaki?
Come on.
I read it as Aku Aku the first time.
Well, that's just really fucking right out. So
I like the idea that you're like, hit me with some real conspiracy shit. Tell me about Aku Aku. He's real. Aku Aku is real.
What's that other place?
Find the Wampa
the other Atlantis, Lumeria, and then what it's called.
Oh god damn it!
Those people are crazy.
Have I told you about Baringan City?
No.
The Black City in the Philippines?
No.
So it's this real thing my dad's childhood friend is trying to find. And it's this there's a certain part of the Philippines where you're not really supposed to go there. Everyone kind of knows because you get lost, you go missing, your equipment doesn't work, and nothing really works there if you stay too long.
What?
And the story
what is this, Minecraft?
the story is that in that space, in reality, exists a pocket dimension where a different world and city exists, and they're hyper advanced. They can use magic, they can shapeshift, and everything is black.
It's the fucking Filipino Wakanda.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And the only way to find or enter the city is to be invited by someone who lives there. But if you trespass in that area, they have telepathic powers and will fuck with you and make you get lost and fuck your shit up. And so everyone's like, maybe this is kind of real, because every once in a while they'll get letters addressed to the city with no return address from like different places.
No,
but
they don't.
The real story is there was a Japanese company that tried to mine uranium there, I'm pretty sure. And they gave up after a few months because their equipment kept breaking down and they couldn't explain why. So they eventually gave up.
Well, radiation breaks equipment.
That was just the Black Panther.
Yeah, I don't know if it was uranium. It was something expensive.
Well, if it was uranium, I mean, I don't think uranium in its natural state could fuck with equipment to that level, but...
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
But that Japanese mining company thing's real. And my dad's friend has actually just waded through the jungle to try and find it a couple times.
What, like every like?
Because he wants to live there.
How dedicated?
Big magnets. Well, yeah, who wouldn't want to live in the ancient black city of Lumeria? But like fucking
Wakanda.
yeah, the Superville. But I mean,
Quickville. Who wouldn't want to live in Quickville?
it bothers me. It bothers me the lack of understanding people have about the scope of the world. How many people live in it? How many different organizations are looking at different shit? And they just think something could just be there and you'd never know it. It's like, yeah, something small, not an entire hidden fucking city. We're not. This isn't Naruto.
El
You can't just,
Dorado
you can't
right
just
here.
hide shit like that. I mean, we know where most of it is, and it gets found out quick. You want to keep a secret between two people, you shoot one of them. That's about the
Yeah.
only way to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
all the crap that we know, we don't do anything about, but all the crap that we know the CIA did, they tried to keep that shit secret, and they didn't because people talk. It's just what happens. People fucking talk.
Well, my dad did ask me if I wanted to go hunt with it.
Why not?
Hunt for
Why
the
didn't you
city.
go? You should have just gone anyway. It would have been a bonding experience.
Well, there was COVID.
You could look like the.
I guess there's no COVID in the jungle.
You
Yeah,
guys.
there's no COVID in the jungle
You
unless
got-
there's lawn pig in there.
You could keep the fucking. You'd be like those guys looking for Bigfoot. In that all
Yeah.
gas no brake thing. I just imagine Kaz going out there. Yeah,
Would you hang out for one of those? Would you do that?
Yeah.
yeah.
And if I actually saw Bigfoot, I would actually pee my pants.
It's like an adult version of a snipe hunt. You crack open a beer, you go out camping, and you pretend you're looking for Bigfoot. I mean, no one cares. It's just a
Yeah.
bunch of.
Yeah.
That's how guys get together and do stupid shit. That I mean, at the end of the day, it's what it is. It's a snipe hunt, and
Logan, that sounds like an SCP.
who?
RuneSmith official said, I heard about a broken AC that let out a specific frequency that made people see ghosts and shit.
That does sound like an SCP.
Mm.
Sounds like an SCP story.
I can't believe you're talking about this without me. No, you're here, PC. What are
Well,
you talking about?
there's that story about
Yeah.
that haunted World War II era ship.
Uh-huh.
It was just super haunted all the time.
Oh yeah, there's a couple.
I forget what
those.
it's called.
There's a couple.
Wait,
of
there
those.
was a real?
The idea of a haunted ship is the scariest thing in the world because where are you gonna run? You're in the ocean, dipshit.
Yeah, the ghosts are inside of the water. They'll
Yeah,
drag
it's
you in-
worse. That's so much worse.
They're coming out.
There's two hopeless situations if you're being haunted in my mind. Because if you're in a house, you can just leave the house. If you're in a forest or if you're in a boat, you're
Too
fucked
bad we
if
can't
there's a
stay,
ghost.
baby.
Like,
Honey, there's blood in the toilet. Well, that's peculiar.
like,
God,
you cannot. There's no escape. You can't escape a ghost in the forest. You're fucked.
I
You
don't
can't
think
escape a ghost on a ship.
Well, it depends on the forest, but I mean, yeah. I don't want to talk about that thing,
Yeah.
the forest. I don't want to talk about that, but I will say
Oh, yeah.
I'd go on a
What
snipe
the
hunt.
fuck?
Oh, I don't. I probably thought he was.
Dude, he got banned.
Did he get banned?
What
Banned?
the hell?
He got banned.
No, he didn't.
You got banned?
No, I banned him.
Oh.
Oh, why'd you ban?
No, I didn't ban him.
That's funny. Somebody permit him, I
Already
guess.
typed
Did he post a link? Is that what? That's whatever.
Yeah.
No, he posted a. Was it a link?
Oh yeah, infrasound's a real thing. It fucks you up.
Didn't they put?
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
all right. I never knew if they did this or not. Did malls actually put infrasound outside of their entrances to keep mall rats out? Did that actually happen? Because I heard there was a bunch of news people talking
I
about
don't
how.
think so.
But they were saying like there was a sound that people 16 years and old, 16 years and younger can hear that older people can't, which is true, but not to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But they would play that sound outside certain areas to keep kids from hanging out there. I never in my life heard someone say that it's not infrasound though. Oh, okay, I heard that was a thing, and I don't know if they actually
Is
did
that
it or
real?
not. They had to
What?
stop because it's age-based discrimination. That does make
Because
sense.
some people can hear it.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, I'll have to look into that because that sounds kind of neato. But
Yeah, that does sound kind of neat.
I mean, it's going to be one of those things that people claim they've heard and haven't heard or done around or any of that shit.
I think I've heard it. I
I
feel like I have.
I've heard a dog whistle before, but not other dog whistles. I heard that specific dog whistle, and no one else.
Because you're
never
a
heard
dog.
I've never heard a dog whistle, but I'm pretty sure it's that thing where you think you're hearing something, but you're not hearing anything.
could have
It's
been
that
that.
kind of thing.
But it was intense. I heard
Because
it.
when I've gone into specific creepy places, I've heard that.
Yeah, I've realized that noise is literally one of like the hairs inside of your ear dying, like the
Oh yeah,
receptors of
yeah.
like
Your
sound.
membranes.
Oh, PZ, I don't like that. It's
What?
the angels talking to you.
Oh no!
I don't like that.
The little cherubs coming inside.
It better not be cherubs.
Pop up here, like, you know what?
What the fuck?
That was the angel.
That was the angel. That was one of them. Cutting in and out of their microphone. That was
Disgusting. Anyways,
psyop Satanists making angels come in here. I'm tired of it.
Satan is making the angels come out. PZ, why have you summoned this blight upon us?
PZ, why are you a Satanist?
PZ, why are you a Satanist?
I can't make that joke.
Please write a 5-letter essay.
That's gonna be Kaz's catchphrase in this podcast. I can't make that joke.
Because for once in my life, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, and I'm like, you can't say that.
You can't
For once,
You can't say that.
I've trained for this.
Well, I have to, because when I have a conversation at the dinner table, I can't make jokes like I do
Yeah.
normally.
I've definitely had that problem lately, where I've just come with the realization of I am just ruined as a human being, and I need to adjust my frequency of awful.
I'm
to
not
people.
ruined, but there's a very specific switch I turn in my brain.
I'm absolutely awful because I'm that kind of guy who someone will say something and I crack a smirk and I give like a laugh to myself and they'll be like, what's funny about that? And I'm like, I can't tell you.
I've had those moments, but I would say I've kind of spent my whole life. I've spent most of my life thinking about what I say because I always acclimate to the person I'm talking to.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really good at that. So nothing ever comes out of me that's like shit posty with normal people. That doesn't happen to me.
That's the same. That's the same with me.
Yeah, I'm very good at the whole chameleon thing.
But there is a moment where, as a friend, you will see me physically relax, and that's when it starts coming out.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
It depends on person to person.
If you see me put my hands on the back of my head and I start like not even looking at you while I talk, that's it.
That's
you're about to hear some fucked up shit while there's a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Stupid. I'm gonna say something really awful and I probably don't mean it.
I'm gonna say something really awful and you won't even see me look at you.
Yeah.
But I will still be smiling.
It'll happen. I mean, I've had that trouble before, but like in such small instances, I can count it on my hand. Like it's not that big of a deal.
The times I've fucked up, I can count on my hand.
But you know that goes from also at the same time. I had no filter in high school because I didn't give a shit. But with people that I respect their opinion, I give a shit. So in front of like Techie's family or whatever, I don't talk like I normally do, like on stream. I'm much more gauged and measured on that. But
yeah,
I'm not afraid to say anything in front of them. I just don't, because I don't A, want them to think I'm a complete retard, and B, it just isn't appropriate. So I just don't.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What happened to me as I got older is the dialogue that usually plays in the back of my head started coming from my mouth instead. When I was too relaxed. So the older I got, the more I'm like, okay, you can't
do that.
You gotta be normal. You gotta be normal.
The most recent incidents where I've had that was when I was playing those Jackbox games, somebody had their kid in the call, and I thought when somebody said, "I'm actually 10," I thought they were joking
But they were
until I
right.
heard them talk, and I was like, "Uh-oh." And then like their mom was in the call, so I'm like, I have to
I got
change
into
myself.
I got into a big argument over that. Some of my IRL friends, one of them had made this side friend that brought their kid when they
Uh-huh.
came over to hang out with us. Which now, granted, this was never an adult space. It was just a space
Yes.
that we were in. It was never a space that we were always going to be making adult jokes or whatever. But there's a certain comfort level that you get used to with other adults. And at any point in time, somebody could make a joke or talk about a certain subject, but you can't do that shit around kids. And they just would
Yeah.
bring them. They would just bring their fucking child when this is supposed to be this relaxed zone among
This is
people.
gamers night.
Yeah, basically. And they would just bring their
You gotta respect the atmosphere.
yeah, and they would just bring their kid, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess we won't talk about anything we want, really. And it just annoyed the shit out of me. And when I finally brought it up, they were like, well, you could just not worry about it because, this kid's used to anything. I was like, no, I'm raised in the South. That doesn't work with me.
Yeah.
I am from that does not work with me.
This kid is not ready.
Your kid's gonna develop a few new neuron connections. You got to get him out of here.
Yeah, and not
Yeah,
even that. Just my own. There are certain things, especially from in the South. There are certain things you don't talk about in front of kids. There's certain things you don't. I don't even like to curse in front of kids. And when I'm with other people, I throw around fuck more than pretty much anybody else.
Yeah.
But when there's a
Yeah.
kid around, I'm on my best behavior because you just don't do. That's how my
With the
dad raised me.
kid.
Yeah, you just don't do it. It makes me want to do a backflip when when I'm at Walmart and I hear some mom cursing in front of her kid. I'm like, oh my god,
Oh my. Yeah.
because that's their business. They're able
That's
to
their, yeah.
they're able to raise their kid how they want to raise their kid. That's fine. I don't necessarily think that it's good for a kid to become casual with that. Even if it's not a major moral issue, they're still going to get in trouble at school. So
Yeah.
why reinforce that when they could not get in trouble? Because the teachers are not going to care what you think about those words. They're still not allowed at school. So don't say it. And that's the major reason that you're raised in the South with that type of that Southern sensibility, that the Puritan crap, which is a lot of it's garbage, but some of it is out of don't do that in front of kids because they're gonna get in trouble. Not you as a bad person, them, the kid. He's gonna go to school, he's gonna say something,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a call from some mother who's like, my kid never learned that word. Well, yeah, they did. They just felt more comfortable because another kid said it.
Hmm.
And you don't want that.
Get in trouble.
There's
by
like a
the people.
whole by the Puritans. The Puritan, and there's a lot of dumb Puritan crap I don't agree with. But at the same time, I cannot be comfortable around kids because I can't talk freely around kids. So
Mhm.
don't fucking just bring them into this atmosphere of adults without them consenting that was going on. And they're gonna consent anyway because we're all gonna be polite. Like, oh yeah, you can bring your kid or whatever. No one's gonna say fuck no. But you should have the sensibility as an adult to realize that nobody wants them there. Nobody wants those kids there. We all just want to kind of drink a little bit of whiskey, hang out, talk about nothing. And,
I mean, I'm not gonna say no, but I'll be like, "Are you sure?"
yeah,
Yeah.
get
It's like
kind of
it
heavy
is.
over here,
Yeah.
It is like a situation of like that is a moment where sometimes when that happens, I kind of try to gauge it. Or it's like I'll see the parents start cursing, and I'm like, "Fuck it." I mean, if they're not holding back, I'm not going to restrain myself
I
either.
can't.
There's
It's too ingrained.
there's other things too where it's like, hell, today earlier in the morning, I was in a call with some dudes just bullshitting, and a younger kid hopped in the call, and I tried my best to adjust my language, but I slipped a very casual. I was just like,
Some racism,
It's
casual
fucking
racism.
stupid. Yeah, just casual white
Oh
racism.
no.
No, it was, but I said, I just very casually just said, it's fucking stupid, and then I like immediately thought, oh shit, and I immediately regretted it because I felt like the kid trying to fit in with the cool older dudes in the call immediately then used fuck in a sentence, and I was like, no.
Yep, there it is. That's what happens. It's not that the kid learns the word, it's that they get comfortable with the word.
Yes, uh-huh.
And that's a big distinction, and you don't want them to do that because Lord knows, when I was a kid, I had a pretty fucking foul mouth. And when I got comfortable or didn't care about those things, it would end up happening, and nobody wants that with any of their kids.
Yeah.
It's hysterical as it is to hear a 10-year-old be like, "What the fuck? That's funny." It's bad.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't.
It is.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get in trouble in other places. Even if you have a problem, if you don't have a problem with kids cursing, they're still going to get in trouble at other places. And they're going to have people judge them. People have the weirdest social constructs. I used my parents' names, and that freaked people out. They did not like that, especially in the South. People would give me the weirdest looks over that because I wouldn't say mom or dad. I would use their names, and that was weird to them back then. I don't know how kids are now.
I still
but
think that's weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's-
it still feels weird to me.
that's a weird thing for people. It's not for me, but that was still kind of reinforced in my house, and so that's just even though those aren't even curse words, people looked at you like you shouldn't do that. I'm like, it's just how my house
It's like
is.
disrespectful or something.
Yeah, like that is a really weird thing. And it was born out of a necessity because my mother dragged us to a million fucking thrift stores. And calling out mom is gonna get 8 or 9 other women who are also wasting their money to look. It's gonna happen. And so it just became her name and then my dad's name, and that was just what we did. And sometimes it is out of a disrespect, because like I said, I wasn't the greatest kid in the world. But you know when it is. You can feel it. There's an intensity to it where that's out of disrespect. And it wasn't when I was just mentioning it to teachers. They'd just be like, you can't, you shouldn't call them that. I'm like, what do you mean? It's their name. It doesn't make any sense. So, but that's a weird thing. That's equatable to the cursing. Go ahead.
My parents will get mad at me if I. Well, they won't get mad, but they'll remind me that at home I always address my older brother as the word for older brother in our language.
Right.
But when I don't, when I'm telling because I don't when I'm telling a story, because why the fuck would I say that telling a story?
Right.
They'll correct me, and I'll be like, fine.
Yeah.
See, that's
But when we're out with the friends, I'll just call him by his name, and it's fucking annoying.
Right.
What is the word for older brother in your language? It's Kuya, Kuya. But I say, Kya!
Yeah.
if he's because he's fucking he's rooms in the basement now, so he fucking never hears me. So I fucking omit the you now because it's too many syllables.
So you're not even allowed to use his name. You have to call him that as some type of honorific.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's even weirder with siblings to me than it is about the parent thing.
It's only the older brother. There's no word for younger brother. You just call him. Well,
Well,
there is.
Well, fuck them, I guess. Like that. Who cares?
Yeah,
They're younger. Fuck them.
That's not a thing that's enforced, but it's like kind of a thing for, you got to respect your elders.
They don't even exist. Get them out of here. You don't need a word for that.
Yeah.
I have like a very.
But my youngest brother never calls me that word. And I'm like, why the fuck does he get to do it?
Because he's the eldest, I bet.
What the fuck?
Well, no. I think it's more because they're softer on my younger brother.
Because he's baby.
That's always the case.
He is baby.
It is the worst thing.
How come he's not getting hit? I got hit all the time.
Because they'll tell you they didn't right in front of that kid too.
Fuck you.
That's the worst.
Well, you never did that. You did that to me all the fucking time.
Mom, what are you talking about? My first memory is you hitting me while trying to learn how to count. It was 1 a.m. at night at the dinner table in our shitty ass apartment. Of course I remember. That's the only thing I remember from 3 years old.
But they'll say that never happened.
Multiple times learning shit as a child, like sobbing over papers and like having a parent looming over me.
It's always been my mom because my dad refuses to like do the little stuff like that with their kid, with like his kids.
Same.
except for my little brother.
That's how it
Oh.
is. It's like
not fair.
they have a completely different memory when they're in the reference. That's how it is every time. And
Because they don't want to believe they did that.
no, they don't. They don't want to believe it, and they have this total reconstruction. An example of that is elementary school for me. One of my cousins was not allowed to walk to his elementary school, which was the same exact distance it was for me. Like it really was. They had me walking to school at like third grade. Like it was
Yeah.
nothing. I'd walk. I knew I could remember the route even to this day, and it was nothing for that to happen. My dad knows this. He's on my side about this. But my mother was like, "We never did that. I always drove you." It's like, you are out of your fucking mind. I remember, like you're fucking crazy. But I don't talk to him now. But back when we did talk,
Yeah.
that's what it was. She'd be like, "No, that never happened." I was like, "You're out of your fucking." And the only thing about my dad is when I bring up the discipline stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't use the belt that often." I was like, "Bitch, that was daily." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, it was probably one of my smaller ones. You had that Italian leather. I know you didn't cheap out on those belts because I felt them.
I felt the cow.
Its soul tried to jump into me, escaping the evilness of the act. And he's like, no, it wasn't that often. That didn't happen a lot.
How many slippers have hit my temple? How many wooden spoons have hit my temple?
Yeah, they can count it on their hand, but you can count it by the stars. Unbelievable. But yes, when it comes to the youngest kid, it's always the baby. They get away with fucking murder, and
Man.
you always have this responsibility as the older one. Because I had a bunch of cousins that's the same way, and I'm like, no, that's not fair to me. And you guys would never have let me pull that shit, but they get to do it all the time, and they get the best clothes too. Your ass just got dumped on, whatever it was, but they get the. That's why the middle child's the worst too, because then they get dumped on, but whatever you got dumped on with, but not the youngest kid. They get to get the best shit because they're the youngest.
That actually didn't really happen to me because I outgrew my older brother.
Well, fuck them. I wasn't a middle child, thankfully. I don't know what it's like to be a middle child. I don't want to know.
I'm a middle child.
I don't want to know what it's like to be a middle child.
It's like, because I was the middle child. I was the youngest for a long time.
Uh-huh.
It feels like when you see it's the emotional equivalent of seeing a puppy left out in the rain as soon as a new one comes in.
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, come on, I'm not done growing yet.
I'm not done yet. Put me
back in. Don't put me back in.
Wait.
I wouldn't say they were shitty sinners. I would not say they were shitty. They were trying their best with what they knew, and now they know more, so they're making a better effort, which I appreciate. But at the same time, I'm jealous because God, I wish that were me.
Yeah, because you can't get that back.
Oh, fucking hold on, my dog.
Here goes the dogs. And yeah, Sinless, half. I'll go half on that. My dad was doing his best, and I don't know what I would have done in his situation either. I've had all this time to think about it and come up with the right answer, and there isn't one. I don't know what I would do with my dad. He was trying there are mistakes I could obviously point out and say you shouldn't have done that. But overall, the entire experience, I don't know what I would change with him. I have no idea because he was just doing his best. And even as an adult now, I definitely wouldn't know. I feel bad for the man. I have sympathy for the man who made mistakes because I don't know what I would have done in that situation either. I have sympathy for him.
That's kind of how I am with my parents at the moment. Like, just really like.
Yeah, like damn, what would I would? I don't know what I would have done either, and I'll never know because my bloodline ends with me. So it's not like I'm going to be raising any kids in my house. However, my mother?
I keep praying and inseminate.
My mother, shitty parent. Beyond shitty parent. Evil parent. Absolutely evil. I don't know if I see an adult hitting a child, I will break their knees. No, see, that's where I disagree. I think All right.
I like the parent or the child. I can just if I see a parent beating their kid, I'm gonna fucking break that child's knees. I'm gonna destroy
I'm gonna
him.
make sure they can't run.
I want to make sure that kid learns his fucking lesson. You know what I'm saying?
The mark of a parent, and this is my official stance on this. The mark of a parent, a good parent, is understanding what works with that individual child. Somebody like Techie, for example, he never got hit as a kid. I'm sure there was like a spank once or in a while. They could definitely count on their hand. But Techie's parents didn't need to hit their kids because those kids, all you had to say to them was that you were disappointed. They actually loved their parents and respected their opinions, and wanted their parents to be proud of them.
That's the difference.
Right? Yeah, they wanted that. And there was that they knew that all they'd have to do was say, I'm disappointed. And the kids would fucking cry because they were upset that their parents were disappointed in them. Whereas if you said that to a kid like me, I would have said, get the fucking line.
I don't give a fuck.
Take a number. Take a fucking number. I don't care if you're disappointed. I'm disappointed. The world is disappointed. Tough fucking titties. No one cares. And then laugh and not give a shit. Right? So obviously that doesn't work on me. Talking did not work on me because I didn't have a respect for them in that way. But I'll tell you what did keep me out of some trouble was the fear of knowing that my dad did not cheap out on belts. They were strong. I remembered the feeling of those belts. And I remember knowing that the confrontation that we were going to have was not worth the effort of the trouble I was about to get into. That was something. You can't just intuit that sort of thing, though. That's not true. Like, I think if you're paying attention, you'll know what works on certain kids. I do. I normally can pick them out and say, that's the kind of kid that cares and that kid's the kind of kid that doesn't. It's up to you as a parent to find that line. There's that line of whether or not that's going to work. So, and that's fine to not trust parents. And there are some people out there that think there is no situation in the world where it's acceptable to be physical.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that there are kids out there like me who did not give a shit, who did not give a rat fuck what you thought of him, and he would go out. He would go out and do whatever you told him not to, just because you said something. Like, how dare you tell him what to do? That's the kind of kid. What do you do about that? Sometimes they need a physical reminder in order to understand that there's a consequence to that, and make them weigh that option and say, is this worth it? Is what I'm doing worth it for the confrontation that I'm gonna inevitably have if I go through with this? That's what they need to weigh. And there's only certain kids that works on, and there's only certain kids that doesn't. I can't even tell you that worked with me. I can't even tell you that my dad pulling out the belt worked on me. But I know that there are instances in my life that could have gotten a lot worse if he didn't. I do know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So that's one of the, that's what I'll say. But I'm never in favor of beating your children. There's a difference between a disciplinary action and beating your kids. And I don't think, one time my dad got a little out of hand and I would have counted that as a problem. But the rest of the times, he was just disciplining. I never thought of that as giving me a beating. I never got beat by my parents.
I've had some that I've apparently just repressed.
Yeah.
Or afterwards, my mom had told me, "You're really bruised up."
Yeah. But like I said, it's the mark of a parent to find the case-by-case basis on what works. Because you can't
mark of your dignity.
Yeah, you can't talk to every kid, and you can't work out with every kid. You can't do that. And you can't hit every kid either. Sometimes that does just scar the shit out of them forever, and they never recover, and that's what it is. I wasn't one of those kids. Maybe my dad knew that. Maybe he knew, well, if I beat the shit out of him with this fucking belt, he's not going to be scarred from it. He's going to be angry. He's going to hate my ass for a while, but he's not going to be scarred by it.
Turned out better if he used his.
So we talking about trauma.
Yeah,
Every time
I don't have any of that.
Sinless was saying
I say.
you don't hit kids, and
Oh.
I don't agree with that entirely.
ground when they do something wrong.
I think that there is an obvious level of abuse, physically speaking. I think you can obviously know when that line has been crossed, but it is such a natural thing in even the rest. What happens when a wolf pup acts up? The parent bites him. What happens when a horse colt messes up? The parent bites him. That's what happens. They have physical reactions to things because kids respond to that.
The lesson is bite your children.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I definitely said.
That's what you should.
The point is that discipline is a thing that happens in nature, and it is a tool. It is not the only tool that a parent can use. It's up to finding out. It's up to the parent to find out when it should be used. So that's what I think. That's the.
I don't know. My parents just hit me a lot.
Look at you now. You're doing great.
It-
You're on a famous podcast with a famous streamer who's super popular and makes too much money on the internet.
You got a great will to live.
Yeah, you're
You're in
doing
excellent shape.
excellent shape. Yeah, Odd
Excellent
Job was ripped.
Handsome too.
Yeah, definitely
Incredibly handsome.
Chiseled, well defined, witty,
Straight
Like-
edge.
Definitely
straight
straight.
edge.
Definitely straight.
I'm incredibly straight.
Yeah, not
Sounded
gay at all.
mind.
Not gay at
Nope.
all. Not at all.
Nope.
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a tiny bit.
Straight.
Nope. Look at me now, Mom. I'm white.
Love women.
I did not think about consequences ever, no matter what they would be.
That was the only thing I could think about as a kid.
Yeah.
If I do this, what bad thing is gonna happen? If I do this at home, what bad thing is gonna happen? That's the only thing I ever thought about.
I think that was action for me. I would always think about the consequences of an action. I would never think about the consequences of what I said. Those were two different things for me.
As a kid, I had that problem. That wasn't a problem. That was the thing that I learned very early as a kid. Was to be wary about not only my actions but also things that I say.
Yeah.
I'm also I was a very stressed out kid.
Yeah.
I'm so stressed out.
I had there's different periods of my life where I had zero stress, which was a problem, and then other periods where I had nothing but stress, which was a problem. I don't think I've ever really been in the middle ground.
Yeah.
It's either one or the other.
I like that. I like that comment. We're all just stressed out kids.
Oh yeah,
Seriously.
it's just the way it is. Here, you two talk. I'll be back.
Like, you want me to pay my taxes?
Funny. My dad will.
Adulthood's the biggest fucking lie, dude.
You're
Once you
never-
become an adult, you don't like magically know what the fuck you're doing. You just kind of get hit in the teeth with a foot.
No, you're just a person that just knows what you know, and
Yeah, you're just slightly older, and you realize, oh god, you're getting older. Stop getting older, please.
if anything, the more that you learn, the worse it gets.
Because you realize how fucked up everything is,
Oh fuck!
and then you fucking look at pictures of the internet that say, "I want to go back," and it's a picture of a monkey in a zoo.
Then you laugh, and somehow that's funny.
You really do want to go back to monkey.
No, and sometimes people just post big booba of cow lady.
Wow.
Booba. Booba. I love saying. I love making the joke of just saying booba.
Would you rather return to monkey or evolve to crab?
A monkey.
I want to be a crab, dude.
No, I
wanna
don't
stumble
like.
around on the floor.
I
going,
think being a crab would be kind of lame, in my opinion.
being a monkey's cool.
Yeah, being a monkey's super sick, dude.
You want to
You could,
fling shit at each other?
scalp people. Yeah, you could fling shit and scalp people. Can a crab fling shit?
Yeah.
How?
Well, it shits and picks it up and throws it.
Okay, all right. Well, what if your shit is droopy?
Well, then I'll just like.
Yeah,
I don't know,
right.
I'll
Right,
scoop
shut
it up
up.
in my claw.
I don't even know what the fuck's going on anymore. Because your shit's droopy and mine it might also be droopy, but since I have big hands, I can pick it up with my big old dish bowl hands, and I'll throw it at your dumb crab head. Then you'll look stupid. This is quality content for a podcast. This is
Crab
what people.
Yeah, see, Sinless is right. Crab can have 8 to 10 limbs and hang out on the ocean floor. Can a monkey do that? No.
No, because they don't fucking need to be on the ocean floor. Because the ocean's lame and stupid and stinky. So shut up.
It is stinky. The ocean smells like shit.
Very stinky. And monkeys are stinky too, but they were born in the stink. You merely adopted it.
That's right. So really, nobody really stinks.
Coconut crabs are scary, dude.
Dude, they're indestructible. I beat on one with a fucking pipe as a kid for like 2 hours and it wouldn't die.
You know, it's like a theory that's how
I'm talking like helm
Weird.
busters too. Wait, what?
Yeah. That's a theory that the reason they never found Amelia Earhart was because they probably just ate her body.
Yeah, coconut crabs will eat a dead body.
Yeah.
That's probably what
Because
happened.
he was a kid, sinless. We were just talking about this. You don't think about the consequences.
Yeah, you're a fucking kid. I thought it would be fucking delicious.
Oh, I'm gonna beat this crab.
Yeah, I was fucking bored.
Hiya. Fucking.
I wouldn't say it was a sexual awakening,
That's a weird sexual.
but it really made me like crabs.
Beating this crab sure does make me think about beating my meat.
I'm back. You know, I was,
We're back
You
on
hear
crabs.
when I was
Yeah, we're talking about crab.
when I was
What was
outside-
your earliest sexual awakening from a cartoon?
I don't want to talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about something else.
do books count?
I wouldn't even be able to remember.
Do fantasy creatures from books count?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh,
If it's cartoon.
that'd be Tolkien for sure.
I don't
Token.
want to talk about
I
it.
don't want to talk
I
about
don't
that.
want to talk.
They've always been there. It wasn't Pete's dragon. That
Pete's dragon.
I'm not a big fan of the Don Bluth look. I've never really been a fan
It's
of
kind
that.
of ugly looking.
Well,
like,
why not?
That's not really my thing.
You don't think they're thick?
Well, I
You
don't
don't
really
think they're
go.
juicy?
I mean, yeah, they look friendly, and that's got its appeal. But I don't know.
No, you heard what I said,
I heard what you said, and I'm ignoring it.
bastard.
Yes.
Your earliest sexual awakening was Bilbo Baggins.
Oh, definitely, man.
That
Definitely.
is the birth of midget fucker.
That's dude. He
How tall are you?
the moment Bilbo was like, "I don't want anybody on my property," I was like, "That's it. That's the guy. That's it. It's him."
I'm like thinking back to being a kid, and I know that there were a couple times like a young kid where I saw like basically a cartoon waifu, and there was that moment in my kid brain where I was just like, I really like them specifically for some reason.
Yeah, you can't identify why until you're way older, but
Yeah.
looking back on it, you go, yeah.
Where the first one was.
I know it was Smog. I know it was more the idea of Smog, not really Smog himself. But I know why I was attracted to that. And there's a lot of, even what we were talking about with kids that don't care and say, fuck you to everything. How dare you tell me what to do? That was part of the draw to Smog, was a creature that didn't seem to give a shit and could do whatever it wanted. Any kid likes the idea of that, being able to do what the fuck you want. But I took it to the next level by going, I want to be that. And that's a pretty early thing. And
Consume me.
but at the end of the day, you don't really identify that as a kid. You can identify it as an adult later and go, oh, that's where the problems started. That's
So
where
here's
that
where the
was.
troubles began.
Yeah, this is where the troubles happened. That's and that's I don't know. In that particular subject, I'd say that I think people have a inclination to be that way by birth, but I would also say there are attributing factors that come into it as you get older and older. So, but yeah, there's another one, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. People talk about that chick a lot.
Oh, Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, I'm just drawn that
When
way.
I was a
People,
kid, I think she was too exaggerated when I was a kid for me to like.
I've
Be
never watched that movie.
Oh, you've never seen.
she's popular among some crowds.
Yeah.
She's popular. Lola Bunny,
That's
no.
also funny because I also did not feel anything for Lola Bunny when I saw them in Space Jam.
You watched the Goofy movie recently? The Goofy movie is
Now
100.
that's
That is
where my sexual
that
awakening happened.
that
The
movie
made me
is
come.
unbelievably underrated. I could go crazy about that movie because
Never watched it.
it is well. There's a thing about it that that gets a lot of points from me is that
Mhm.
unlike a lot of the father son movies or any of the parent kid movies where they get along at the end and everything's fine, the Goofy movie is more about the dad adjusting to his kid and not the kid adjusting to his dad. And that's really important, I think. Because specifically, I remember one thing that broke my fucking heart from that movie is Goofy takes Max to some really crappy sideshow animatronic thing. And I
Yeah.
know that was coming from the animators who have taken their kids to Disney. And there's a lot of Disney shit there that's super dated. It's old. It's not fun
Yes.
anymore. It was cool when it happened, but now there's way cooler shit that the kids are interested in.
Uh-huh.
But the parent has that memory of the magic of like something like the Berenstein show or whatever the hell was it that
Uh-huh.
was a terrible show. It isn't that show hasn't been good in 40 years and it's somehow still there. But the parents take their kids there and the kids are like, this is lame. And it'll
Mhm.
break your heart because you just remember the magic as a kid. And it's happened to me. Nobody cares about Figment anymore. I used to love Figment. Figment was no, it wasn't the Berenstein Bears. It was the Country Bear Jamboree. That's what it was.
Oh
The
yeah.
Country Bear Jamboree. That shit is the worst. But there's people in their 60s and 70s that were like, no, keep it. You better keep it. We'll sign a petition, you know? And there's just all that kind of stuff. But that's like the worst. That was not great. Country Bear Jamboree. But
I saw the
the
Country Bear.
yeah, the point is, um, Goofy takes him to that, and Max, of course, is not interested at all. And to Goofy, it's this magical childhood experience. Um, who's there, And I feel bad for that because it's a lot of those animators projecting that what they did at Disney, and instead of Max finding out this, hey, this isn't so bad or whatever crap, no, he just continues to think it's lame, and that Goofy has to just deal with that and realize that his kid is growing up and doesn't give a shit. That's a really good thing that they. And of course, by the end of it,
Real.
again, he adapts to his son and what his son wants to do, because you can't ask more of a child than that. The kid is you shouldn't force something onto a kid that they like or won't like. You can't force that. You can only, as an adult, adjust to their needs, and that's what Goofy ends up doing the entire fucking time. And it's glorious. It's a glorious movie.
It's a really good Goofy movie is honestly pretty good.
It sounds cool. I should watch
Have
it
you
one
never
of these
seen it?
days.
Max
No, I
is
said that.
Goofy's super manipulative,
That's
and
why he's
Max,
explaining the plot.
yeah, Goofy's super manipulative, and Max is a selfish asshole for the first half. Max is a selfish asshole because Max is a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
what they are. That's what
that's
happens.
exactly, and Goofy is trying. Goofy makes the mistake
What
of
he
trying
grows.
to push him in a direction that obviously wasn't going to work out. That's him for the
Yeah.
movie. It wasn't going to work out. So, but why does he get rewarded all the time for it? I don't think he does. I think it's more Goofy realizing the only way he can connect with his kid, which is all he wants to do, is to allow him to do the things that he wants. You
Mhm.
can't fight him on that. You just can't. You can't fight a kid on that. it's a kid. They're allowed to be a kid. They're allowed to be stupid. They're allowed to make bad decisions.
It's like when my dad kicked my N64 down the stairs and then made me watch him play Ocarina of Time. Which, to be fair, I could not beat Ocarina of Time, so it was cool watching him play it. But he still kicked that and my GameCube down the stairs.
Right.
I still like that response. That's fair. You have defeated me.
Well, no, and I don't mean that as in like you can't take that any other way. It just feels to me like that was the story they were trying to tell. That the parent's job is to adapt to their kid, and it was more that was a movie definitely written by parents who had disappointed themselves in their inability to connect with kids. Because every parent has to go through that. It's like, damn, I loved this when I was a kid. Why don't they? Shit.
It's the kids who are wrong.
Yeah. They can make that decision and go, the kid's a moron. Fuck them. Or they can say, well, maybe I can be more lenient in finding out what it is that they like about this.
Maybe I'm the moron.
Yeah, maybe I'm the one that's out of touch. Let me go talk. And Goofy
Could
makes
I be
that
out
decision.
of touch?
No,
it's the
it's
kids,
the kids that are wrong. Right, and Goofy makes that decision. And however, yes, the girlfriend, Max's girlfriend, was drawn to be that way, and that's not.
Yeah,
Max
they
has a
had
girlfriend?
they made her super. Yeah, they tried to make her like all sexy.
Oh.
Yeah,
Does she look like a Goofy character?
No, that's the
no, that's why.
That's the other thing. She gets that treatment where like the females are always drawn like humans, but the males are always monsters.
Roxanne Goofy movie.
Yeah, Roxanne. That was her name.
Oh God, her name's Roxanne.
Roxanne, put on a red light. Well, whatever. You can take that movie how you want. That's how I see it.
I like Peasy gonna make my idiot kids play Bloodborne and like it.
You better hope one of your kids isn't like me, Peasy. Or you gonna have
I might. I don't know. I'll never have kids, but if I did, I'd probably make him play a video game I really like.
I
wouldn't force him to do it, but I'd be like, "Hey, this is a good game. You should try that."
You know what we should do? You have to make it competitional. You have to say, "I bet you can't. I bet you can't beat this.
I bet you can't beat Bloodborne. It was way too hard even back in the day."
Because what my dad said was, "I bet you can't beat my score in Missile Command." And before that, I had no interest in Missile Command until he said, as an Irish father, "You can't do this," and that was it. And that was a mistake because I thought, "Fuck you, old man! I'm gonna tear this bitch up."
See, I had the opposite reaction. Whenever my dad said that to me, I'd be like, "Yeah, my dad's pretty cool. I probably can't."
Damn, I'm sorry that you had that. If my dad, did you ever beat his score? I did, because there's a problem with a Missile Command, which would take too long to explain. But yes, and anybody can beat anybody's score if they get to a certain point in Missile Command. There's a problem with it. There's an inherent problem with it. But
my dad challenged me to basketball once, and I'm not very good at basketball. I got 2 left feet, and my dad is able to sink 3-pointers without the backboard, like 90% of the time.
Oh shit!
Despite him looking like a Goron. I don't know how I understand his rationale behind it when I asked him how come he can only shoot 3-pointers, and he said, "I have really bad legs, so I don't like to run around and dunk." I'm like, yeah, all right, that's fair.
The team's not going to complain about a 3-pointer.
I don't think he jumps either.
I find a lot of respect for your dad whenever you talk about him.
My dad's super cool. He's great. Except for that time he threw an axe at me. And then gave me $20 not to tell my mom.
That's really cool.
Hell yeah, $20.
And then I never told my mom.
That's funny. My dad had his moments where he was cool. I mean, he would slip me $30 now and then to get out of the house.
Slit my throat in the middle of the night.
And then
I grew stronger for it.
I started figuring out he was just trying to get me out of the house so he could have sex with his girlfriend. But, he still could have just said, "Get the fuck out," instead of giving me $30. So he gave me $30. That's pretty cool.
I'm not going to kiss my dad, Peasy.
And
why not?
He and I would watch gangster movies together and have a good time. I don't know. Like we had our moments. He kicked my ass at tennis. He did not kiss. He did not. And he actually, when he found out me and my buddy were going to this pool hall, he started coming. And he would he'd pay for it like all fucking night because he knew we were putting up with him. Because it's kind of weird to hang out with your dad. That's a little weird, you know.
A
So
little bit.
he bought everything and knew that was the, you know. And of course, we were always happy to see him because we barely had any money at the time, and he would come and play pool, and he didn't get shitty about it. Like, let me show you this. Oh, you're doing it wrong, or any of that. No, none of that. He would just play pool and hang out, and that was neat, I guess.
It was never pool, but my dad's really good at poker.
I never played cards with him. I played chess with him until I started winning. He didn't like that.
I've never played poker against my dad. What have I played against my dad? I've played basketball against him, football,
Pool,
That
tennis,
Frasier episode. The fucking
pool. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Except I was winning. I wasn't Frasier.
and swimming. My dad can swim. I can't swim.
My dad. Yeah, chess, pool, tennis, any other white sport. Let me think.
Croquet.
Yeah, no, yeah, polo.
Polo.
Yeah, polo. No, we didn't really play like soccer or football. You don't really do that one on one.
Fuba.
Yeah, but anything that was one on one, we would do that. But he fucked me over one time. I was always a Vikings fan. And he was a Dolphins fan. And these two teams are from very different divisions in the NFL, so they rarely ever play each other. It's like once every 6 years. So when they do play each other, my dad and I would make bets all the time about it. But because it's not an important game, it's almost never on mainstream cable. They always have one of those special ESPN cable, channels that show it. And so you normally have to go to a bar to watch it. And I said, Dad, let's go to this game and let's do the thing. He goes, I don't feel like it. And I said, oh, you don't feel like watching the Dolphins lose? And that didn't work because he was like, no, I don't care. So I couldn't get that going on. And I said, come on, let's go. And I bugged him. And he said, okay, I'll do one. I'll go if you do one thing. You have to wear this Dan Marino jersey. He made me wear a Dan Marino Dolphins jersey to go root for the Vikings to beat the Dolphins. And so there I was at the bar, standing with a bunch of Vikings fans, wearing a fucking Dolphins t-shirt, cheering on the Vikings, and having all these old guys look over and go, the fuck are you doing? And I was like, my dad made me wear it or he wouldn't let me come watch the game. And they would give these fucking super dirty looks to my dad across the park. It was so fucking funny. And he'd just wave every time because he knew that I had told them what happened. And he didn't seem to give a shit. And there were guys laughing about it. People on his side of the bar with the Dolphins were like buying him drinks and shit. And fucking the Vikings people were buying me sodas because at the time I wasn't old enough. But it was the funniest fucking thing. Of like this, it's like, your dad really did that? Your dad's an asshole. Shit like that. So that was funny. I laugh at that now. I didn't think it was funny back then, but I laugh at it now. Back then I was pissed. So
What's something me and my dad did that was just a us moment? Oh, I can't talk about that on stream.
Oh.
Because it takes place back home in the Philippines.
Oh no.
And you can get away with a lot of stuff there.
That time we got long. Oh wait.
Oh.
That time we robbed that eye.
Oh yeah. Shit. Oh, we sold off that. Oh no, we stole that.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, the cow.
Oh yeah, my dad didn't actually buy that cow, but he did buy 7 goats.
But he did get those 7 goats, and now you have to make those happy.
Yeah, it's a real pain in the ass.
So my sinuses, have cleared, but I kind of got like a hot sweat. It makes me wonder. Yeah, this might have been a cold. This is weird.
Probably have a head cold.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't know. It's just temperature, probably. I'm just glad it doesn't affect how I sound.
Changing of the seasons, or maybe someone coughed on Techie.
A lot of people coughed on Techie.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Techie. Yeah, really quick shout out in all seriousness to the people who are working those jobs, because
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would have already lost my shit. I'm too much of a child to work to work a service job like that, because I know the first person who was like, you gonna make me wear a mask?" I'd just lose my fucking mind on them, and
Kill him.
I'd go, dude,
Oh
I'd be
yeah.
fired so quick for being a jackass.
No
Man,
patience.
that's
Well, it's not that there's no patience. There's no patience for shit like that.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, you're not a regular person too, or how the and all these people who go crazy on registers and shit. That dude is working minimum wage and has no actual say in how that $1 billion company works. Why is it
Yeah.
his fault?
They're just trying not to get sick too, dude.
Yeah, it's
You're the
ridiculous.
middleman in all of this.
So stupid, but
Don't shoot the messenger.
no kidding.
Yeah.
And
Both
it
my
just,
parents don't work right now.
but shout out to them, because this essential workers crap.
Today I will cause problems at the grocery store.
Yeah, they choose that.
Clueless.
They just choose to be that way, and it just fucking drives me nuts.
I don't know what kind of person you have to be to choose to do that.
Someone who has always gotten what they wanted and has always been able to throw a fit and get what they fucking wanted. Kids that haven't been hit, which brings me back to my last point. Because I'm serious. Some of these fucking people look like they've never ever been told no over anything in their whole lives.
Yeah.
And then they go in there and how dare you make me do anything while I use this private business that has say over what it gets to do.
I thought this was America.
I just hate it. I fucking hate
This
that
is
mentality.
America.
Empty lives, yeah. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull my iPhone out and record myself being belligerent to some minimum wage workers, because that makes me a hero.
I'm standing up.
Yeah, to the man. Yeah, these people who are fucking.
The
I
man.
will not sit down and face tyranny.
Get the tyranny of a
I'm
minimum
standing
wage
up
worker.
to the man being paid minimum wage to deal with me, a grown child.
No, I will not leave the premises. Oh shit! You called the cop.
Yeah, we're past
No,
that
no,
point.
I
sir.
was leaving.
Yeah, we're past that point, sir.
No, I was going out. Oh, wait.
So
yo,
fucking
chill.
funny.
Starts fucking parkouring away.
Like, and I've had my
Real life
moments.
manhunt.
I have had my moments where I've gotten, I've been the Karen, not like super Karen, but like, I've had, hey, could you get a manager or something? Or, hey, I don't agree with this receipt rule or whatever. Everybody's had that moment. Well, you get mad at the employee for some stupid policy. Yes, everyone's done it. But over this shit, over whether or not to put your stupid fucking mask on and to, keep your distance or whatever the fuck, you're going to really go that crazy over that? You know what?
That's the hill you're gonna die.
Yeah,
on.
that's the fucking hill. It's not that you're being robbed by that stupid ass insurance policy that you wasted fucking $60 on that isn't in effect for some reason. That's not, no, that part you're fine with that. But the mask thing, and I'll tell you something else that drives me nuts. Every one of those videos where the Karen who's like, I have a medical condition that won't let me wear a mask. Those people yell for 10 minutes in that video and seem to be breathing just fine.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm not a doctor, but it seems pretty obvious to me that their health issue is not that bad. But whatever.
It's pretty obvious to me that you guys aren't helping.
Yeah.
I felt like a dick today because thankfully I was able to. My brother had like another mask, but we ended up taking my dog to the vet today. And like when we got there, I like stood up and I was like, "Fuck! I don't have a mask."
I really hate how often it happens where I just forget my fucking mask.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like an asshole.
Oh yeah. I have, and that's a good thing because it means you've been reinforced by the collective to know what you should be doing.
Yeah.
The village has
That's
raised
why
you.
I walk my dog at night.
Well, there were a couple times even before this where like, oh man, I'm really sick and really coughing. I'm just gonna wear a fucking mask.
Yeah. And people get fucking crazy over the stupidest shit, and
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever done that before?
What?
Where you're like sick as fucking coughing, so you wear like a mask.
No, I never thought of other people before.
Only.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I used to get sick all the fucking time in high school, so I would wear a mask a lot so I wouldn't fuck anybody else up.
No, that makes sense. I mean, that's yeah. If you,
I thought you were gonna end that sentence early.
so I'd spit in their food.
Well, to be honest,
Laugh at me.
I noticed that it was a thing like Japanese people did, and I was like, why the fuck don't we do that?
No, it makes sense if
Yeah.
you're sick. It makes perfect sense.
I mean, it
Yeah.
does make sense. Yeah.
The only time I wore a mask before this pandemic was when a friend of mine said that they may have had the Norwalk virus. And I went out and got a mask immediately because that is the most contagious fucking shit and the worst thing to give somebody. If somebody gave me Norwalk, even on accident, I'd never let them let it down. I would remember that for the rest of my life. I'd be like, hey, I need you to pick me up something from the store. They'd be like, what the fuck? I'm not your butler. I'd be like, you gave me Norwalk. You owe me for the rest of your life because of what I had to go through because of your ass. And that's the only time I think I ever wore a mask before the pandemic. And I hate it now because the only thing I want to do is get a haircut. I'm not mad I can't get a haircut,
Mm-hmm.
but I want a haircut because I can't. Nah,
I don't know. I
really,
honestly don't know what I'm doing with my hair anymore. My hair is so fucked up looking right now, but I don't want to get it cut, but I don't want to grow it out. I don't know what to do.
the Norwalk Sinless. You guys deal with it all the time. It's Scandinavian. It's also known as the norovirus. That's also what it's referred to as. But when we got it, we didn't have the natural resistance that some Scandinavians have because they go through it yearly. When we get it, I almost died because it was that bad. It was
Like legit almost died or
yes,
passed
like
out?
legit, almost like I almost dehydrated death.
Oh, okay.
Like it's so bad. When they told me it kills old people and babies, I was like, yep. That makes perfect sense. I can't imagine somebody over the age of 70 getting that and getting out of that without permanent damage.
Nah.
It's a full 2 days of constant vomiting. Some people get constant diarrhea. I didn't. I just had the vomiting. Constant diarrhea and just you just sweat. I mean, it's so bad. It's like a super stomach bug. It's hard to describe.
Imagine how powerful you'd be if you had that. Because
I've never had that.
It's so bad. Well, it came off those cruise ships. That's what. Remember when was always on the news? The cruise that it came out.
Ew, Peasy got swine flu.
Ew. Well, she is a pig, so that makes sense.
disgusting.
True. Maybe that's why she keeps having those dreams.
She is swine.
Yeah. What dreams?
She dreams of boars coming after her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You lie. You lie.
You
Peasy,
lie.
I literally cursed you in real life. How could you say I'm lying?
Careful, he'll do it again. You'll get.
I will do it again. Don't piss me off.
Don't piss me off. You know what power I have.
He's gonna call Pazuzu. He's gonna get out the voodoo dolls too.
I don't need Pazuzu.
Oh,
I just
damn.
need my bad vibes.
That's true. He's got a lot of bad vibes to give out to people. Kaz is a scorned creature.
Abandoned by God. Really.
Abandoned by God, scorned by God, cursed by God. He's got a lot of those.
I don't have leprosy.
No leprosy. Well,
How can you prove that?
You want to see my skin?
yeah, can you prove?
I've never touched an armadillo. I'm gonna tell your mom so she beats you with a shoe. She got really mad after she found out I cursed you. I was like, Mom, how could it possibly be my fault? I don't care. You said it. And I'm like, ah.
The funniest shit when you told me that was I asked you, did you actually apologize to her? And you very reluctantly just said yes.
When I find out somebody believes in curses, I low-key just want to start saying shit.
Explain the story for the podcast. Okay, so I hate Peasy.
Yeah.
She's a bitch. She is stupid. She's ignorant. I can't make that joke. She is low IQ. I don't like her. So PZ, for some weird reason, wants kids, like a lot of kids, like 10 of them, she said.
Yeah,
And
she did.
it's not that I hate kids, I just hate PZ. So I focused my chi and energy one night while I was talking to her, and I spread my hands towards her at the computer screen, and I chanted, "May your womb be barren." And a few months later, PZ goes to the fucking doctor, and she's got ovarian cysts. And I'm like, well,
You can't argue with results. You just can't.
I'm a very powerful being. I accidentally gave her cysts.
You have a gift.
And I will also
Powerful.
point out that my older brother also has a cyst. And is what he's going into surgery for.
Did you also make his womb barren?
No, but I do call him shithead a lot.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
What a head-
I accidentally cursed him.
You know, just residual collateral
I am
curse.
the worst X-Man.
Call him a cyst head. He'll get a shit.
Collateral curses.
I'm convinced if I believe in something negative hard enough, it'll happen. That's why I try not to root for my favorite teams. I try not to like wish someone good health.
Because your body only emits evil.
Yeah, so I'm trying really hard not to funnel that into other people.
It's chaos being. If I was a chaos
Abandoned
being,
by
I
God.
wouldn't tell people. I just
Literally
keep doing it.
abandoned by God. Well, I think it's a public service announcement when I do.
Oh, that's
'Cause
true.
people need to know.
That's
Don't
true.
fuck with me.
No, when I hear people that believe in curses, I normally try to fuck with them. I can't help myself. I know it's immature. I know I can't. You know, one thing there was a long fucking time ago. This is sort of on that line,
What?
but not like a curse.
Wait. What's that one show where the Native Indian dude's like, white people hate curses?
Oh, Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
He gets them. He gets the whole government with it. He gets them to do a song and dance because of that shit. I have cursed it, and now nobody will go. Yeah, okay, nobody believes in that. That was so funny.
Remember the animation that they did where it's like like reenactment of what actually happened, and they did like
Oh yeah, and he just made it up, and he just starts like all the stuff he's saying like in his native language is just a bunch of crap. And then he says, "There, I uncursed it. Everyone's happy," or whatever. He starts walking away.
I know about white people.
They hate curses. No, a long time ago, my roommate's brother told me that he had a dream that my roommate told me that he had a dream that his mother went into the kitchen, slipped on ice, and stabbed herself with a knife, like on accident, right? That she fell over. And he told that story to his brother, who told that to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I bent my bullshit so hard the next day, or maybe it was the day after that, I can't remember. It was just a little bit of enough time after that to where they had lightly forgotten about that subject. And I had slowly but surely brought into the conversation of killing his mother because of whatever, she irritated me or something. And he's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Dude, your mom's driving me crazy. I'm gonna kill her." And he goes, "Oh yeah, you're gonna kill my mom?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I'm gonna make it look like an accident too, like I don't know, messing around with a wood chipper or putting ice in the kitchen, so she'll slip on it, like fall on a knife or something. And after I said those words, his eyes got wider. And he's like, "What did you just say?" I was like, I don't
So mean.
I was like, I don't know, like, put ice in the kitchen, she'll slip on it, fall on a cheese grater or a knife or something, And he goes, that is the fucking weirdest thing that you said that. And he's got like leaning back in his chair and looking at me like, Did I have a premonition of this guy killing my
You're
mom?
actually gonna kill my mom.
Yeah, you're actually gonna
This
do
man
it.
actually going to kill my mother.
He's gonna kill. Yeah,
Is he
like
going
he
to
like he
press-
contemplated that for like I could tell a good 2
Was this a
minutes or
message
so.
from God?
Yeah, like for 2 minutes or so, he was like really thinking about it because he had no way of knowing that his brother told me about this non-important dream. And then he's like he gets up and starts thinking about it, and I could tell it bothered the shit out of him. And then maybe about 5 minutes later, I was like, well, anyway, not that I'd ever go through with it, but if I did, you probably wouldn't know. And he goes, all right, man, listen. I had this dream about that. I was like, you had a dream about me killing your mom? He's like, no, not you specifically, but she fell on ice and died. And so I'm freaking out. I was like, did you tell anybody about this? He's like, my brother. And you were hanging out with him. Oh, you're an asshole. I really thought something weird was going down. I was just, oh my God. I was cracking up. So when people tell me that type of shit, I normally mess with them. Which is why I laugh about Peasy and Pazuzu.
Well, the
I've-
only thing. Oh,
Hold on.
I'll let you go first. This better be a good story, Mario.
Pretty good.
What a fucking asshole! What a fucking dick! Who the hell was that guy?
I don't want to say it. I when I was younger, I would have these dreams where I would swear I would swear that I would see things that I had seen in a dream that I forgot.
Oh, deja
And
vu.
they would be like a deja vu kind of thing. And it would be a situation of just in my head I was like, I know I had a dream of this exact thing happening. But it's a thing that doesn't matter. Like it's like literally somebody just saying a very specific phrase to me, like being in an office and someone saying, "Oh, here, take this pen" or something. And then that happens and I'm like, I swear I had a dream of this. and there was a while where as a kid I was like, how can I utilize these powers?
We all dream of that.
Yeah, and there's two types of deja vu. There's deja vu and jamais vu. And jamais vu is, I don't know if I've ever experienced that one. So deja vu is like you recognize like you've done this before, right?
Yeah.
Jamais vu is more like you've never done this before, but you recognize it for some reason.
Yes.
Like you
Uh-huh.
it kind of comes naturally despite it never happening.
And don't forget, there's also Vujade, which is something that's
Yes.
never happened before at all, and you can't believe it's happening to you.
Yes, that happens every day of my life.
Wow.
Wow. You just, wow.
Wow.
I think the only jamais vu I've ever experienced was when I was in that cave. Because that cave was both underwater and had a river running through it, and I managed to never slip or even stumble while walking through it, despite holding my phone with both hands and spiders being 1 inch from my face.
Yeah,
Very
past life, you were a cave creature.
Yeah.
I'm fucking Gollum.
Yeah, it was you.
Ooh, a real thing.
Press Kevu.
Where it's like
Yeah, that's a thing.
where you know everything about a topic except its name. I like that.
Is that what jamais vu is? Did I fuck up the word for it?
They said press cable or press.
Well, no, Sinless is correcting something else.
Oh, Jamevu is experiencing something that you
Oh.
should be familiar, but for some reason it feels foreign.
Oh, okay.
I've also had those situations.
That
Like,
happens to me a lot in
That's how I.
day-to-day life.
That's how I found out I was gay.
No.
I have that whenever I like don't draw for like a day or two, and then I go back to my tablet or something, and I'm like, "Fuck, how do my hands work?"
I do that with games. I'll be like,
Oh yeah.
it's a game like Elite Dangerous, which I've been playing recently.
Mhm.
there's a lot of depth to very specific areas, and I totally forgot them. I forgot all of that crap since I haven't played for a long time, and then I learned one piece of information about it, and that cascades into the rest of my memory, and I'm like, oh yeah, all of this at once. I now remember. I do that all the time with like RPGs and.
That's really funny, Runesmith.
Yeah, I do that.
I do that with.
Well, no, that's also funny too. But I was reading Runesmith's chat.
Oh yeah,
I do that with being happy.
yeah. But no, I
At least you get to be happy.
Oh.
I feel happy at different points in the day.
I don't
I don't think I feel happy all day.
I usually don't.
I like.
really don't.
I pull certain pieces of joy out of my life. Like when I cook dinner, I like that. When I feed Techie, I like that. That feels good. Um, when I'm playing a game and I don't feel the need to complain about it, like I'm just playing it and somewhat
Yeah.
enjoying, like I'm content with what I'm currently doing.
The only time I smile during my normal day is when I look at my dog.
He is a pretty ugly dog, so I can enjoy. I can understand.
Sometimes I don't even smile when I look at him. I just kind of rub him.
That's fair.
Like he'll be sleeping on his stupid little dog bed, and I'll crouch down in front of him while he stares up at me, and I'll just kind of start rubbing him. He won't even like purr or like.
Oh, don't you
stop.
also smile when Sif PMs you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
is that
you gotta
specific?
I call Sif my dog a lot, and my dog Sif a lot.
You gotta. Well, there's a lot to be unpacked in that statement, so I'm just gonna ignore that one and save that
Oh, no, they both start with S.
for your therapy session.
I need a lot.
Yeah,
I've had 3 of them quit on me now.
I can't. Yeah, I can't help you with that one.
We're getting there.
Just can't. I can't. I don't think I can help you with that one. But
I had talking about dogs. I took my dog to the vet today, and I was very. It's very weird. To the point where like the vet was kind of weirded out by it, but
it's a weird fucking
my
dog.
dog is yeah, my dog is like almost 13 years old, and she's very healthy. Like
That's good.
she still has very youthful kind of energy to her. We don't know what happened. She like there were
That's like pretty
they-
old for a dog of that size.
yeah, and she's still very like youthful and like fucking. She's kind of swole too. Like
Well, you're
That's good.
feeding him,
walks.
right? It sounds like.
yeah, I'm feeding. I'm making sure to feed him. I
You're
fed
feeding
him
them and exercising them.
Yeah. She's built differently, apparently.
Spike is a fucking piece of shit, but I know he's gonna live forever.
Because despite you.
Well, not just that. Spike is a small dog, and he's a very angry dog, and is a spiteful dog. And those
remember-
dogs always live the longest.
I remember you.
Dude, my dog can kick any dog's ass. That's the coolest thing I like about her.
I remember when you picked up Spike that one time in the voice call, and it just started losing its shit, and it was so funny.
That's because I was petting him.
Yeah, I know. That was the funniest fucking thing. You were just like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "I just got it." Kaz like that. Yeah,
He's a grumpy dog.
so fucking funny.
Like there's 2 types of growls for Spike. There's those growls, and then there's sometimes if you like scratch him really good, he'll growl at you because it's like a purr.
Right.
He's like, "Ugh."
He's groaning. He's old and groaning.
Yeah. Have you ever like stretched and it felt good, so you just go, "Ugh."
Yeah, big stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which you're like legally required to say when you see a dog or something stretch. You're like, "Oh, big stretch."
Yeah, I do that.
You have to.
Guys, would you still love Spike if one day he stood up and he just undid a zipper on his back and he had like a strong like older man's body but same proportions, but
I'd like to point out real quick, these are exactly the type of conversations that we have even off camera And
Yeah.
This is not new.
Well, they're
This-
important questions.
I feel like
Listen.
they should know that this is us at 2 a.m. in Discord.
This is us at peak performance.
No one
This is a legitimately normal conversation.
No one
This
has
is a normal
no one
conversation.
has spoken in 4 minutes, and then someone will be like, "Hey, what if your dog was like a little alien man, but he was kind of buff, and you thought that's kind of hot? What would you do?" in
I'd
that
break his
way?"
neck.
And that's
I'd
the
snap
normal
his
kind of
fucking
answer
neck.
we get.
Like instantly.
Yeah, I'd pick him up and snap him by his tiny little fucking neck.
Hold on, I didn't finish my hypothetical.
Okay.
Hypotheticals are the peak of comedy. Yes. Okay, so the hypothetical is your dog. You're like at your desk. You
Uh-huh.
turn around. You look at Spike. He's in your room. He
Uh-huh.
stands up on his hind legs. He looks at you. You hear a
Uh-huh.
zipper unzip. He has like a buff, like small, like similar proportioned body to himself, but he's still a dog. He still acts like a dog. He still barks like a dog. He just stands up right now, and he's kind of buff. Like, would that bother you?
Yeah, I'd snap his neck. Because I alone have to bear the burden that something like that exists in the world. I can't let anybody find out about that.
Would you sell his body for science?
No, I'd bury him.
Yeah, he just said he wouldn't let anybody
No
find
one
out
can
about
find
that.
out about that. If something like that happened to me, like if I legitimately found like an SCP or something, I'm not telling the fucking government. I'm getting rid of it.
Depends
I don't
on the
want that thing in my
SCP.
life. I don't want that thing bothering anybody else.
What if they offered you like $10?
Okay, well.
I mean, capitalism has to happen. I mean,
I
that's
suppose I could give him.
it has
Peasy
to.
asks,
I
what
don't
would
like
you-
capitalism unless it works for me.
Peasy asks, what if you and Spike traded places? What would you do, Kaz? That'd be great. I'd be a fucking dog. I won't have to do shit ever, and he can have all the problems of mine.
I feel like
What if when you and Spike traded places, you don't actually trade bodies? You just literally trade the places that you were at. So he just shows up on your chair and you're sitting on the ground.
Well, then I'd feel like a fucking idiot.
I feel like
Because I'd be inside of the Christmas tree. Because his bed's under the Christmas tree.
I feel like if Spike and you traded places and traded bodies, nobody would notice the difference between Spike before and Spike
No,
now.
because I'd sleep the entire day because I'm a fucking dog like him.
Yeah, nobody would notice.
I'd be spiteful and grumpy as him.
Yeah,
I'd be just as ugly.
you'd be just as ugly, and you'd have fleas in there.
He doesn't
Really,
have fleas. He
it's
doesn't
not.
have fleas, but he does smell stale. He smells like stale bread.
Yeah, when he
Would you
licks
be
something, it
angry if
smells
out of
bad.
spite he picked you up and started petting you?
I don't know if I'd probably grumble. I don't know if I'd growl.
I bet you do the exact same thing that he
Yeah, I'd
does.
be like,
Oh, stop!
I do that. Normally, I do that if you start touching me.
Ooh, it hurts.
That's why they kicked me out of that massage parlor.
Well, I think with that, we've genuinely separated this kind of podcast from other podcasts. So I'm glad we did that, and that we have
Well, yeah.
a unique setting to shit post in.
Why I made Dragon's art look tired.
Oh, wait, I forgot. PZ's super right. I'd have to deal with the chimp. I should probably explain what I mean by the chimp.
You should.
Yeah.
So I have two dogs. One of them is called Spike, and he's a white Shih Tzu, and he's a piece of shit. And I have another dog who is a Yorkshire mixed with a Maltese, who's also a piece of shit. And I call him, his name is Chip, but I call him the chimp because he's a little monkey fuck. He's a little bastard with, his fur coloring literally makes him look like a monkey. I don't know how to explain it. But he's also, like I said, a piece of shit. But instead of lazy like Spike, he's extremely energetic and like happy and aggressive.
Well, nobody likes that.
He's a big chimp. That's what I call him, big chimp.
And nobody wants activity from
He-
an animal.
You know how a gorilla walks? That's
Yeah.
kind of how Chip walks, where he's like really, he doesn't really move his shoulders. He's just very dun 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 dun.
So you're saying your dog walks like a gorilla.
Yeah. He's a very stiff walking dog. I've never seen a dog walk like him.
That is an intense thing to think about. A dog.
So You know how a dog can like gallop, like where it's like not fully sprinting?
Yeah.
The chimp doesn't do that. He fast forwards his walk animation. So he's just like bouncing on the ground as he fucking races towards you.
Is it like this the Senor Palo thing where it's like as he walks by, it's just
Yes, that's exactly what happens when he fast walks towards you. It's so stupid. Because you can hear it on the hardwood. He's like,
That's really fun.
I'm glad I can hear it. I'm glad there's
Yeah,
an
you're
example.
welcome.
he's a little bastard.
This is audio. Listen, this is an audio podcast. We have to help the viewer visualize.
Oh yeah, yeah. They
What if
need
he
it.
RP walked towards me? Bastard. Well, then it's on. We got to fight.
You gotta break his neck.
How would you feel if like a very like pencil thin dude who's like 5'4"
Shut up. Just shut the fuck up.
What? One thing that I did wrong.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
For a moment.
I think.
What crime have I committed?
I
Stand my penis, sir. I see you know your judo well.
This is Democracy Manifest. God damn. All right. I think we've hit the end of this podcast.
Well, because it's not going to stop.
It's not.
We're just going to keep doing this for like 10 hours.
That's very true.
Yeah, but we'll do that off podcast. You guys can.
Oh, that's true. Well, yeah, we got to cut the video because it's not going to upload.
Yeah, we have to at a certain point. I don't want to do 3 hours every time, so there's that. But thank you to everybody who showed up to just shit post. This was definitely more active than last time, so that was fun. And thanks to Mario for drawing this fucking fantastic piece of shit that we have
Fuck you.
for everybody to watch, which is great. You can find Mario on Twitter and commission him.
On Twitter. Yeah, Mario_Sack.
There you-
Mario_Sack.
There you go. At
You can find me in
Mario_Sack.
most places as Mario Sack. Or
Find him on OnlyFans as Mario_Sack.
God damn. And we also have Kaz, who streams sometimes, and it's a very chill atmosphere on his stream. So we're gonna do that.
Oh, did you plug me because Sif muted you here? I didn't hear it.
Oh yeah, I was just about to plug you. I was gonna say that.
Oh, thank you.
It's true. Don't look up Kaz on Twitter, but you can definitely look him up on Twitch. Don't go to Twitter. That's a bad idea. But thank you guys for being here. And yeah, you guys want to say anything before we end?
I hate all of you.
I want to point out that the first episode is very different from this one, so it's gonna be a surprise to some people on YouTube.
Yeah, but
it's kind of gonna be like a slap to the face.
Yeah, but who cares?
A little politically charged. It's a little.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Aggressive.
I'm saying it's funny.
Yeah.
We like having fun around here.
Okay, content is content, to be honest with you. So
Content. We make it.
Join us next week
Yeah.
when I clip my nails live on stream.
He'll do it too.
Fuck yeah!
Oh fuck, not stream on the podcast.
He'll do it.
Yeah.
I know he'll
Well,
do it.
both.
All right, you guys have a good one, and we're not rating. This is a podcast. Fucking get out of here. Find your own place to be, and have a good night.
You're disgusting.